my fellow humans. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. If you're new, thanks so much for joining us. I'm truly honored to be here sharing this time, this space, and this human experience with you all. So we are doing messages from the divine. And if you hang out with me, we'll get to our prayer. We'll also get to our collective message after we shuffle the cards. But I had to come on and say something. So I was getting this message, right? I was like, Source, what pick a card should I do? What message do you want me to do today? And what feels like the most aligned with my purpose and my journey? I kept hearing messages from the divine. I was like, all right, cool. And I picked out a deck of cards that I haven't brought out in a long time. There's two decks, right? And I have both decks, but I picked the Azure. It's this oracle. We're going to use it in the pick of cards, yes, but this is not the one that we're going to be picking from. We'll get to that. But I just want to talk about this for just a second by Sue Hilder. Okay, so I have not looked at these cards in probably, I would say, 3 months. Okay, just haven't even brought them out. Haven't thought about using them. Haven't even worried about it, right? And I was sitting here and I was just, getting my prayer done, I have my conversations with Source before I start these readings. And I go through my little ritual. And I don't look at the cards as I'm unpacking them. The fact that I live in an RV, like I have to unpack and pack up my cards every time I get ready for a reading. Like I can't just leave them out. I don't have space to just leave them out. And so I got these out and they were flipped face up, but I never looked at them. And I took the book and I had already put them on the table. And I took the book and I put the book down. And I was just talking to Source and getting the next one, not even paying attention. And I got up because I had to get a new Palo Santo stick because I don't have any sage right now. So I have Palo Santo. And so I was using Palo Santo and I got up and I happened to look down at the table and I cannot make this up, but I sat there and started laughing. I was like, all right, I hear you, Source. This was the card on the bottom of this Azure Oracle deck. Connect with the divine. My mission is to keep the light in your eyes ablaze. And I felt like this was so synchronistic, right? We have number 56 here, which is 11, a very spiritual number, very connective number. Also showing awakening, truth, stepping into alignment. And I love that that was the question I asked. What is the reading that is in alignment with my highest good, right? Because while, yes, I'm here to give you the channel messages, I still have to find my own alignment within these messages so that the messages come through clearly. And when I pick the frequencies, I always use Self-Healing Collective. No, I'm not here getting paid to talk about them or anything like that. I always pick them because they offer frequencies for creators. Like that's something that they do. And I love their frequencies. And I happen to pick this one because of they have this beautiful woman on the thumbnail, and I don't know, I was just really drawn to it. I don't think I've listened to these before, but this was posted 3 years ago, and it's rejuvenate your mind, body, and soul. It's the 963 hertz. This is to reset the nervous system. And so I feel like this is really interesting that this would come through, and I really felt called to this. And when the picture got big on my screen, there's 2 owls behind her, and I'm really connected with owls personally, but owls also are messengers from the divine. And I was like, okay, this is so wild, just everything that's unfolding. Well, then right? Because I don't shuffle. I always shuffle my cards before I put them away, just so that when I get ready for the reading, they're all set, right? I cleanse the cards and then I just start where they're at. So I had this deck, which you guys are very familiar with, come out, and the North Node came out. But then I opened up this deck, and this is on the bottom of the Moonology deck, which is also the North Node. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is getting wild. Even more wild by the moment. And so everything just totally came through. And I feel like this is the message for you guys as well, is that when we take that moment of silence and when we take that true meditative place, right, we sink deep within our being, we get such clear answers, and they come through so powerfully and amazing. And this is truly truly such a special moment for myself, but also to be able to share this with you. And I know it's one of those things, like, maybe you guys didn't see it unfold and you can only trust my word for it. And I feel like that's really sad too, because we have a lot of people out there like, oh, you probably went through and shuffled all the cards like that so that they were like that. But honestly, do you know the amount of time? Like, I don't even know. I haven't used this deck. I've used it like 3 times. I don't even know all the cards that are in there, right? Like, do you know how much time it would take to shuffle those? And I feel like there's somebody out there that's skeptic about that. And that's why, for those of you that have watched my readings from start to finish, like, you know, you know how often this happens to me. We've caught it on camera multiple times. Anybody that's gotten a personal from me, you guys know it's been caught on camera multiple times. And so I just feel like for the skeptics out there, cool, I get it. I was a skeptic too, and to be here now and in this position, it's so powerful. And so I feel like this message from the divine is just to remind you that yes, there are serendipitous moments, the synchronicities are happening, and if you're able to follow those in the stillness and not be so adverse to them when they're coming up, like, oh, my mind is just creating that in the moment or whatever. Like, there are things that happen that are just far beyond our own explanation, right? It's even far beyond the explanation of statistics, right? When things are happening over and over and over again, you have to wonder, like, what is that? It's something at greater power. There's something that has a greater power. There's something at work behind the scenes that is far bigger than us, and that's even something that we can't really comprehend. And I feel like that's really powerful. But for many of you right now, the message from the divine is to truly step out of your comfort zone. And many of you have watched me do that myself on my channel recently. Step out of my comfort zone, move away from readings that I know get views but are driving me insane, right? Like, I can't do them anymore. And I want to focus more on you instead of other people. Because I feel like when we focus on other people, like, it was really affecting me in my personal life. I'm having a hard time with somebody in my personal life right now. And the more I was doing these readings focusing outward, the more I was focusing on this person instead of focusing inward. And that's something that's really challenging on this journey. And so I feel like that's something to keep in mind, is that the more that we focus outward, the more that we're not taking care of ourselves. And so as I've shifted with my channel, it's allowed me to truly let go and to accept the situation for what it is, and no longer be in this state of constant survival mode, but also this constant battle. Like, I'm dealing with a lot of injuries on my right side, and I realize that spiritually it's because I'm always bracing for something to come up. I'm always bracing for that emotional attack. I'm always bracing for that manipulation. I'm always bracing and to fight back for myself. And part of that was also being fueled by a lot of those readings that focus outward, because that's what everybody wanted. Not everybody, you guys, but like, that's when I look at the statistics online, like, those are the most popular readings. And it's just wild to me that everybody's still so focused outward. And we can see that societal construct. And I want to be a person that goes against the grain and helps people remember that societal construct does not have to be our lives. It does not have to be our way of living. And it was really scary for me to choose to walk away from those readings and to be vocal about it as well. But I also feel like this is something for you to remember, that it's sometimes the most scary things that we do, which actually are leading us to the light that leads us in this journey and what we're supposed to have in this journey. So a lot of really powerful energy coming through today. Super synchronistic already. And just wow, right? Wow. So let's get to our prayer, and then I'm actually going to be choosing a card today from the Yin, the Kuan Yin Oracle cards here by Alana Fairchild. Absolutely beautiful deck. All her decks are incredibly powerful. Highly recommend. I still have more to get myself, so all right, let's stick with the prayer. If you guys don't want to hang out with the prayer, that's fine. Everything you need will always be timestamped down below in the description box. So if you want to move to the collective reading or to the pick where the piles are, you'll find that timestamp below. And if you want to move straight to your pile, then that is also timestamped below. So wherever you're at, I'll see you there. And let's move into this prayer, okay? My beloved source, this prayer is for any and all who come onto this reading today, who are part of this tribe. Today I ask that you help us to claim our sense of wholeness, to remember who we are in our essence. You know, as we're stepping out of our comfort zones, as we're coming into this place of truly aligning with our path of highest good, we have to leave behind the physical realm, the idea of what the physical realm has impressed upon us for maybe a lifetime, maybe not. But letting that go can be difficult because it's a foundation upon which we built an identity. And letting go of that identity means shedding a part of ourselves that has maybe been there for protection, has maybe been there so that we could feel like we belong, has been there so that we feel like we're accomplishing something, being productive, being successful even. And none of these things actually truly matter on the journey. The only thing that we can come back to at any one moment is not necessarily a physical reminder, right? Monetary gain, gain of validation, gain of recognition, gain of fame, of fortune, gain of promotions. All of these things, while nice, they're not the truth of who we are. What really marks our standing in this world is our ability to creatively express ourselves and to stand firm and grounded and rooted in who we are without all of those things in our lives. If we strip away the money, if we strip away the clothes, if we strip away the titles, the positions, the cars, the houses, the things that we own, who are we? And that's what we're trying to draw closer to, is that essence that burns within us, that is alive and breathing the same that we are, that is trying to find its way just for a moment into our consciousness, outside of the hidden and into the known. And today I ask that you help us to step into a moment of peace and stillness so that we can connect with that essence in its wholeness, in its completeness, and allow it to completely engulf us in this here now here moment. As these words are spoken on to this reading and onto this tribe today, so shall they be. Amen. Aho. Hase. Thank you, thank you, thank you, my beloved source. Thank you. And for those of you, 1221 might be a very powerful number that follows you. So just pointing that out. All right. So let us get to the shuffle. And I feel like I want to choose from the houses today, so I will put the dice on there. We'll get to that in just a second. All right, message from the divine for you now. Source, what would you like to bring through for my fellow humans? Message from the divine for you now. A message from the divine for you now. Whoa, the cards tripping out. Whoa, cards, come back, cards. They're ready. I hope you are too. Message from the divine for you now. Okay, thank you, source. Message from the divine for you now. Yeah, there's some sort of portal, if I can talk, that everybody's walking through. Pile 1, message from the divine for you now. What Kuan Yin Oracle card will help us better understand this today for pile 1, source? Message from the divine for you now. That's the one. Thank you. All right, message from the divine for you now, pile number 2. What Kuan Yin Oracle card is going to help us better understand this message for pile 2? Thank you, source. All right. Message from the divine for you now, pile 3. What Kuan Yin Oracle card is going to help us better understand this today? Thank you. All right, before we look at the energy on the bottom, let's do the dice. Message for the divine from you now. Okay, so we've got 8th house, the 1st house, and the 2nd house. Okay, cool. And I'm just going to set these up real quick because we're already right here. All right. Okay. So you guys can look at that collective energy on the bottom. Dance of the Butterfly Queen. Number 5, transformation. So this morning I went out and I'm wearing, I don't know if you guys, I can try and put the corner in. This is the color shirt that I'm wearing today. It's kind of bright, right? The pink is, there's pink all over. It's really bright. So I went out and I was standing out by, I have a pop-up tent right here because my awnings broke right at the moment. And so I have a pop-up tent so I can sit underneath it and sit outside of the sun because it's been so hot this summer. And I feel like this is really synchronistic because while I was out there, all of a sudden butterflies just kept, they just kind of swarmed me and they were all over me and they landed. I had like one here and one on my hand and I was just holding my arm there as they were trying to taste me. And I thought that that was so cool. And they stayed there for a long time. There was nobody around. This is what's so wild. It's just a peaceful moment between me and nature. And right, that dance of the Butterfly Queen, sometimes it really is truly a very personal moment with us for the divine. It's the divine speaking to us and reminding us of these very subtle, nuanced energies that are always around us. And as I was sitting there, it was probably about 5 minutes went by, maybe longer, maybe less. I don't know. I'm just kind of giving an estimate because I didn't have my phone. I couldn't take a picture. I left my phone inside. I was out there with the dogs. I normally do. Like when I go outside, I just go outside by myself because I don't want to be distracted by my phone. And with these butterflies on my arms, I was just watching them as they were slowly opening and closing their wings. And they were doing this with their little nectar sucker. I don't know what that thing's called, their tongue. Anyways, and they kept touching me with that and I could feel it. It was just really slight. It was really gentle. And they stayed there until a car drove down the main road here. I'm facing the main road to get out of the park here. And there was a truck that drove by. And as soon as the truck drove by where he could have potentially seen the butterflies on my arm, they flew away. So I knew that that was a really private moment between me and the divine. It's like it didn't need to be seen by anybody else. It was really, really powerful. And so I feel like this is such a powerful card to come out along with that. It's just, there's these very subtle moments that are unfolding in your life right now where you are tapping into a much higher consciousness. And sometimes that can bring with it a lot of discomfort or even the emotional ego wanting to rush forward. Like in that moment, I had to remind my ego that this doesn't matter, right? Like I don't have to prove this to anybody. I don't have to show anybody that this is real because this is my moment with the divine. Like I've had plenty of moments like that with nature. I remember one morning I was walking and this little hawk flew above me, like probably 6 feet. I don't know. It was pretty close. Like if I'd reached up, I probably would have been able to touch the hawk. And I was walking with my older dog. This is before I left Colorado, and it flew with me. It just hovered above my head the whole time I walked down this back stretch of this nature walk that I was on. It was at 5 o'clock in the morning. I thought it was so random. And I just was talking to him and everything like that. And he just stayed there with me until I got to this crossroads where there was a bunch of cars, and then he left. And I was like, oh, cool. And on that same walk one morning, there was a snowy owl, which is really rare to see a snowy owl, especially over there near the city in Colorado. And there was a snowy owl that followed me. He jumped from house to house. So like when he got to a house and I was nearby, he would hoot at me and I'd like, I see you. And then when I would get close to him, he'd go like 2 or 3 houses in front of me. And this happened consistently throughout my walk, right? And I was just like, this is the most wild, intense moment that I'm having. But again, it's not something that I had my phone on me where I could take videos and prove. And I feel like now everybody's in the day and age, well, if you can't prove it, then it didn't happen. And that's fine. You know, it's one of those things. Why is this energy coming up? If you can't prove it, it didn't happen. Is someone ignoring the fact that you've had a spiritual experience, or are you ignoring it yourself? Because this is a really heavy energy that's come in since the get-go, even with the cards. And I was saying, like, I'm getting this energy where it's like someone's really skeptical, or there's someone that doesn't, you know, like, oh yeah, I'm sure you just went out of your way to make up these stories, or you just went out of your way to put the cards the way that they laid, or whatever it was. So there's like something here where it's like either you're not believing in yourself, or there's someone that's convincing you to not believe in your abilities, and you're struggling with that. And so I feel like with this energy of tapping into this nuanced energy, it's never been about proving whether or not you can. because it's there, right? No matter who you are, it's there. And if people need proof of that connection, nothing you do will ever show them that it's real, which is difficult because we want people to feel that love. We want people to feel that beauty. We want people to feel that serenity and that peace, but we cannot convince people to step into that vibration if they're not yet ready or willing to do so. With the North Node, to step out of our comfort zone, it's a very uncomfortable place to move into, is truly surrendering and trusting in the divine movement, the essence that is behind our own essence, right? There's something else there that we can tap into only in the stillness. We can feel it, but to really tap into that is truly in the stillness. And I feel like with the dance of the butterfly queen, it's this reminder that, like, butterflies, they love to land on you when you sweat. And I learned this from going to there's a butterfly palace here. And I also in Mission, Texas, went to the butterfly sanctuary there, and I loved it. And they always tell you that the brighter color your clothes are, the more they're attracted to you. But also when you sweat, they like to land on you and they'll drink your sweat, which sounds gross, I know, but it's just something that they do, right? They get electrolytes from it and they get replenished from us in that way if they choose to land on you. But to have a butterfly land on you, like, could you imagine if you were just zooming through a butterfly pavilion, or if you were just never stayed still? Why would they ever land on you, right? And so, again, a butterfly will only land on you when you're still, when you're in a quiet moment, when you are at peace with yourself. And I remember at the butterfly palace here, there was a little boy in a bright orange shirt. He loved orange. That was his favorite color. He was wearing bright orange shirt and bright blue shorts, and he hated bugs. He hated them. And his mom brought him to the butterfly palace because it was a sister's day. And this huge blue butterfly, one of those ones that's like this color blue, that's like this big, had landed on his back. And I have a picture of it on my phone, right? He's turned around and all you see is the butterfly. I was like, can I just take a picture of the butterfly on your back? I was like, I won't get you. I just want to take a picture of it. He's like, yeah. He's like, this butterfly won't leave me alone. It's been with me the whole time I've been in here. And the lady was trying to tell him it's because of your orange shirt, right? It's attracted to bright colors. And he's like, I know, but I don't want this butterfly on me. He was just like freaking out. And so one of the ladies came over and helped get him off. But we would carry around these little nectar things, right? And so they would come and they'd land on your hands with the nectar. And it's so funny to watch the people that they're truly attracted to, right? Like, thinking about a child, why would they be attracted to a child that wants nothing to do with them? It's because a child's still innocent and at peace in some way, right? But adults that were just begging for them to come. I need you to show me. I need to be a part of this. I need to be involved in this. Like, the butterflies didn't want anything to do with them. Right? And I had butterflies land on my hair. I had butterflies on my arms. I had them all over my shirt. Like, when I left, they had to take them off of me and stuff. And my family member that I was with, they didn't even want anything to do with them. And I thought that that was really interesting to watch these synchronicities. And so with the dance of the butterfly, there's a rhythm. There's a rhythm with source. There's a rhythm with the universe that when you get to a flow with that rhythm, very majestic things start to happen to you. Very beautiful and synchronistic things start to happen to you. And part of being in that flow is just trusting that it's going to lead you somewhere really cool, right? Instead of trying to swim upstream, instead of trying to get out of the flow, which sometimes when we're in that flow, it's so easy that we get scared, right? We get really nervous. Like, oh my gosh, this can't be this easy. This can't be this real. This can't be what it is. And here she's holding this lotus flower. It's like the unfoldment of our deeper truth. Many of us have learned to come into the stillness because the chaos became too much, right? The mud that we had to grow through in order to blossom as the lotus, the mud became too much. The muck. We had to rise above that. But that takes courage, right? That takes the want to actually grow. And so I feel like with this, if there's somebody in your energy that is choosing not to believe you, what Source is reminding you is that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if they believe you or not. The only thing that matters here is whether or not you believe yourself, and you can trust this infinite flow that is all around you in every which way, shape, or form. And trust that you can get into this flow when you come into that stillness within yourself, right? There's this fluidity to life. Instead of forcing life, instead of trying to make it something that's uncomfortable, instead of trying to make it something that looks like something that everyone else will accept, the only question here is, do you accept it? And if the answer is yes, then that's all you need. You don't need anybody else's approval, even if it feels like you want it, right? Like I said, I had to fight off my ego this morning of wanting to tell everybody, wanting to show everybody, but who was I going to show, right? Like the minute I started walking, they were going to fly away. I would have never been able to show anybody. The minute that I would have tried to call anybody, I'd have had to come inside and they would have had to fly off of me anyways. Who was I going to show? Right? Like who was it? Even that guy that drove on the truck was like, oh, cool, maybe he'll see it. And it's like, does it really matter? No. He never even acknowledged me when he drove by anyways. Right? I only happened to look up at the very last second when they flew away because I was so focused on the butterflies. And when I looked at the last second, I realized he didn't even care that I was standing there. Right? His world and my world were just passing in the night, if you will, passing in the day and the morning. Right? And so we get, and I feel this too sometimes. It's our emotional ego wants to prove something, wants physical proof of it, but the divine, there is no real physical proof. There are just very synchronistic moments that happen to crash into one another and happen to crash into our universal experience here. And that turns us into being aware of those cosmic moments, or we ignore them and think that they're not real and just think that it's just a coincidence. Oh, it just happens. It's going to happen anyways, right? So the question is, are you going to dance with the nuance, or are you going to let the emotional ego say, no, we need to prove this to interperson's name here, or intergroup's name here, or intercommunity's name here? Because at the end of the day, what they think about you, it doesn't matter. It's not your business. It's not. And I feel like that's so synchronistic to this reading, because this whole time I've been getting this feeling of, I got to prove it to somebody, or you got to prove it to me. Like as if you were coming towards me, not me as a reader, but like that same energy, like maybe you're going towards someone and saying, you need to prove it towards me. You need to prove that you've changed, or you need to prove this. But sometimes the proof is in the pudding, right? That's it. You either eat it or you don't. You walk away from it or you stay. Like that's it. It's just the choices that we make. We don't need physical proof. We need to trust ourselves and trust that it's up to us to care for, validate, and accept ourselves in each one moment. It says a pure heart and sincere love attracts divine grace. With the grace of Kuan Yin, Butterfly Queen, that which is impossible becomes possible. From caterpillar to winged creature of delight, you cannot restrain what divine grace ordains, no matter how incredible it may seem to be. Are you kidding me right now, Source? Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Whatever has been troubling you or whatever has been inspiring you, allow grace to infuse the situation or dream so that it may unfold with divine perfection. Allow the Butterfly Queen to dance. She will bring healing and grace to your life situation now, beloved one, with the lightness of step and grace in her heart. Divine grace flows through the Butterfly Queen with the lightness of touch and great joy. She bestows blessings of healing, empowerment, and liberation. It flows to those in genuine need and who are ready to receive it. There are no limits to what is possible with divine grace. It is the power that the Butterfly Queen, Kuan Yin, allows to flow through the pure channel of her heart. Kuan Yin encourages you to be ready to receive her grace and choose to let go of striving, instead to turn to your heart, calling out to unconditional divine love and beloved Kuan Yin to dance her grace through your life. Divine grace is not suddenly having a valuable lesson taken away from you. It is the intervention of compassionate, unconditionally loving, divine intelligence that helps you realize you've learned what you can, and now it's time for you to be assisted out of the situation, to be lifted up into a new vibrational experience. Turn your mind to the expectation of peace, of a peaceful resolution and inspirational assistance. Let go of that deep feeling of unworthiness that require that you must continue to struggle with limited resources on your own. Surrender false notions that allowing others to assist you is dependency, whether these are others are in human form or spiritual form or on the inner planes, it is interdependence to allow yourself to be assisted and to assist others. You are not handing over your power. You're allowing empowered divine relationship to make your power grow so that you can rise above and be blessed. Beautiful butterfly queen urges you now to let the heaviness of the situation go and allow your heart to become light as air, as though her butterfly dance was tickling your heart so lightly. Her grace is reaching you now, beloved. Yeah, so I feel like that's really powerful. And look, she's the picture on the back. I just happened to turn it over. She's not the picture on the front, but happens to be the picture on the back. Isn't that wild? That's wild. I didn't even know that. I thought that the same picture was on both front and back. You can tell. I'm not that observant sometimes when it comes to these. I mean, I am, but it's just interesting how it always happens when it needs to, right? But I feel like that's the thing. What was impossible becomes possible, right? And it's like, the thing is that whatever this is, it's just allowing your life to open up and trust that good things are happening to you now, okay? Wow, what a beautiful message. And I apologize that it took so long for our message to come through, but it was really powerful this morning. So, all right, for pile 1, we do have this dice with the 8th house on it. We have this green Aventurine. Pile number 2, we have this dice with the 1st house on it. We have this piece of Lapis Lazuli. Pile 3, we have this dice with the 2nd house on it. Or we have this beautiful piece of Unakite. So pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3. And whichever pile you feel called to, that should be the one for you. And I will see you over there. Hello, my fellow human. Pile 1, if you were drawn to this dice with the 8th house on it. Perhaps you felt called to this piece of green Aventurine. Or maybe you were drawn to this card during the shuffle. This is going to be your message from the divine. So if you're a returning viewer, welcome back. If you're new here, thanks so much for joining us. I'm truly excited to be sharing this time, this space, and this human experience with you all. And also just keep in mind we do things differently here on this channel, so there might be triggering statements that arise on the readings themselves. There's no obligation to force it to fit. While keeping in mind that triggers can be a beautiful blueprint for us to deepen our healing journeys. All right, let's hop to it and find out what is your message from the divine. Pile 1, your message from the divine. Your message from the divine. Okay, you know, I wasn't going to say it because it did come up in the collective reading, but now that the 12th house is here, I understand why they wanted me to say it. You might be called to owls, or owls follow you, or there's something symbolic about owls in your life. Maybe that's your totem, your spirit animal, or is that, I don't know if the owl is a Native American zodiac. I'm not sure, but something along those lines. Yeah, there's something about the owl here. And I feel like the divine message is to trust your inner wisdom. And there's a lot of guilt about you trusting your inner wisdom here. There's a lot of fear. Maybe there's been people who have lashed out at you or who have judged you for trusting, you know, your gut feeling or your intuition. Like, oh, that's not a real thing. But it is. It's a real thing, right? And it doesn't matter what other people say. But I do feel like there's been a lot of aggression around your third eye development, or a lot of aggression around your psychic abilities and your ability to deliver messages. Or there has been people who have just made it seem like you were acting a part and that it's time to come back down to reality. And the truth is that this is your reality. Your reality is 1 foot in the spiritual and 1 foot in the mundane. And a lot of people are not going to understand that, Pile 1. And it's highly frustrating that that's the case. And it's also very saddening that they're taking it out on you, or that there's anybody here that's taking it out on you, or that there has been someone that's taken it out on you. But the truth is there's a lot of jealousy. There is a lot of possession that comes with that. Like, I want to own that, or I want to have that gift to myself. Like, what makes you so special, Pile 1? This is the energy that's coming in. And I feel like instead of focusing on these individuals, right, we're just trying to give the energy that's coming in. But I feel like what Source is saying here is that your message is one thing and one thing alone: to defend yourself and move forward. And this makes so much sense as to the collective message that came in as well. So you might resonate with that, which you'll find timestamped down below if you're interested, right? There's no obligation to watch it. But there was this message that came up about skeptics, right? And it was so loud. And it was like either you're being a skeptic about your own gifts and your own powers, or someone else is a skeptic about your gifts and powers, and they minimize your experience. And right away, this is frustrating when someone else is minimizing our spiritual experience, because it is so profound and it is so unique. And while I know there are definitely people out there who are trend chasers and they just do it because they want to be a part of the trend, I've run into people like that as well, and that's also incredibly frustrating. But the truth is that your experience is yours and yours alone. And because it is so nuanced to you, it's not something that you can ever truly, truly experience with another person, because they're never going to feel the magnitude of what you're feeling. They're never going to experience the depth of what has come through for you, because that message or that moment in time was for you. Even if it was you passing on a message to others, the reason why it's coming through you as a channel is because of how it affects you, and because of how it taps into your perspective, your experience, your reality, like all of these things, and the way that you are able to form that gift to pass it to others. It becomes the gift itself, right? But it's only from your experience of life that derives from. And so experiencing that through another person, or trying to get another person to experience that, is a pointless endeavor, because if they're not, especially if they're not spiritual, they're not going to understand what you've experienced. Something that is unexplainable, something that is incredibly profound, something that is incredibly enlightening, something that is incredibly deep, something that is unknown. How do I bring that into the known, right? Without tangible evidence, without tangible proof. And that's why I said, like, you may really resonate with the collective message that I did at the beginning, because that was something that came through so strong, so strong. But right now, what Source is saying is that it's time for you to actively protect yourself, which means not sharing your gifts or explanations of your gifts with people who do not appreciate you or are determined to misunderstand you. Because all that's doing is draining your energy, and it's feeding that old guilt, and it's feeding that old self-blame. And now is the time for you to let that go, relinquish that, and step into your empowered state. There's a transformation that's at the door waiting for you to invite it in. And that transformation comes very subtly. It's not something that's going to be a super A supernova is what I heard. It's not going to come rushing in and changing your life in a moment, but it is going to change your life through very subtle, conscious shifts that you make. And it's going to be there walking the journey with you. And so the change is real, but it can only be initiated through you, from you. Okay? So let's see what else comes through your message from the divine right now. Your message from the divine. Yeah, there's a need to stick to your truth. And I feel like, you know, telling people to not tell others who don't appreciate them their truth, like, well, that's us staying hidden. It's not. There's you have to draw the line between self-preservation and self-expression, right? So if self-preservation is tending to yourself in the midst of people who have made you feel bad, or who have brought you down, or who have even attacked you because of your abilities, your gifts, and even your expressive ideas, whatever they are, right? Your creations. If they say you like to draw, and you get these really incredible ideas to draw, and you draw them and you show it to somebody and they're like, oh, right? That hurts. That really stings when that's all of a sudden they're not like, wow, that's really cool, or that's, wow, you're really good, right? And yes, sometimes we do that because we want that validation, but also there's other times when we show this to people because it is something precious to us and we value a certain person's input. But when that input is, I'm going to use this term, it's come up, but it's like when it's gray rock, or even when it's stonewalling, right? Like these ideas where they're just so uninterested in us. And gray rocking is when you become uninteresting to like a narcissist, but that same energy can be reflected into us when we're trying to show them a part of ourselves. It's just it's a design in order to draw away from opening up and being vulnerable with someone who's choosing to be vulnerable with them. Now, I'm not saying that these are narcissistic individuals. That's not my place. What I am saying, though, is that they're not in a situation, or they're not in their own place in their own journey where they can open up and show love and gratitude and appreciation for you being you. And that's when self-preservation comes in. Okay, so let's find out. Message from the divine for pile 1. Whoa. Oh, you want this one? Okay, they want that one there. Wow. We're just gonna go with it. Message from the divine, pile 1. Yeah, all right. So there's something really important about this card. This is like equally as powerful as the initial message. Not that any aren't, it's just that there's something powerful about that coming in. Look at this. We're starting with the 10 of Wands and the 10 of Swords here. So this could be someone that you consider to be a friend. This could also be someone that's given you a lot of responsibility, but whatever it is that you're sharing with them is definitely a path of purpose. This is something you're meant to be doing, meant to be expressing in this life. But there's a lot of emotional anguish when passing this on, and it gets you really stuck in your head like, oh, maybe I'm not that good. Yeah, okay, so this could be a family member. Let's see what's on the bottom of the deck. Yeah, somebody you love. Oh, pile 1, I'm so sorry about this. You deserve to be appreciated by the people that you love. And remember that is really telltale for us too. Like if we really love somebody, if we really appreciate someone too, and they're not returning that to us, you know, that's a sign for us that maybe this is not someone who's meant for the long term in our journey. Now, I'm not telling you to leave this person or to walk away from this person, but I am saying that there's a need to assess the situation without the rose-colored glasses of love on right now. It's really coming at this from a logical place, because there's something here that is creating a lot of tension and a lot of turmoil in your mind, and it's creating a lot of emotional exhaustion. And it's admirable that you care so much about this person, this place, or this situation, whatever this may be. But there's also this feeling of like there's a strained relationship here with judgment. There's a lot of unbalance in the situation where they are very critical of you, and you're doing your best to stay neutral in this situation while you're still very accepting and forgiving of them. And at some point, like you can stay forgiving of them, right? Like that's fine. And you can accept them for who they are. That's fine also. But the thing is that at what point do you keep giving yourself away, right? And that's why self-preservation is like the main energy for your reading, pile one. Is there's a need for self-preservation here, especially when it comes to something that really matters to you, something that really matters to you, putting out there, sharing with others. You know, whoever it is that you've been sharing this with, they don't see the value in what it is that you have to offer, not because it's not valuable, but because they're closed off. They don't have an open heart. This is someone who makes it your responsibility to take care of them emotionally. So when they're not involved in it, or when they're not excited about it, they don't want you to be excited about it. And I know there's going to be people who say that sounds like a narcissist, and it's like, it's fine if you want to call them that. Again, I'm not here to set diagnosis for anybody, but I'm saying that this is that type of energy where they want it to be your responsibility, how they feel, not just about you, but about the world. And that's a huge burden for you to take on, and a burden that you have nonetheless at times definitely put on your shoulders, right? What is that song coming? Lay your head on my shoulder. Isn't that like a really old song? Like a 50s song, maybe a 60s song? So I do feel like you really love this person. This could be a spouse. This could be someone that you want as a potential partner. But they're just very, like, nonchalant is the word that's coming through here. Or it's like, you are giving your all into this situation, and they're just very detached. And it just means that for as much as you love and care about them, they don't love and care about you the same way because they're unable to. It's not because you're not worthy of it, but it's most likely because they're not able to love and care about themselves, right? Like, that's usually what that comes from. And I feel like this is a thing, like, again, this could be a parent-child relationship. So this could be a father or mother. You could be a father or mother to this child, right? You could have, this could be a caretaker energy in your life, or someone that you look up to, like a mentor, or someone that you even look up to, or, you know, are inspired by as a student, something along those lines. But there's something here where it's like you have shared something that needed to be kept hidden about yourself, like your gift, your abilities, what you're doing, and they've taken advantage of that. And that's creating a lot of problems here. And there's also a lot of noise and drama with this person, and it's unsettling. It's really unsettling you. And so Source really wants you to take your power back. They really want you to stand up and remind yourself that it doesn't matter how another person sees you. It doesn't matter how another person even shows up for you. The only thing that matters here is how you see yourself. Do you see yourself with eyes of unconditional love? Do you see yourself from a place of acceptance, compassion, and kindness, right? And if you're not, and if you're saying, well, I do, but I really care about what this person says, right? Then there's also parts of ourselves that we need to work on. Why are we so connected to what this person has, you know, acceptance of us in our lives? Like, why are we so attached to that? Why do we need that so badly? And that's what they're saying here. You don't need this person's acceptance. I don't feel like their acceptance or their validation is ever going to come, no matter how deeply you love them. It's just not something that they're ever going to be able to give to you in the way that you deserve or in the way that you need. Right? They're very closed off. This person is used to the drama. They're used to the noise. And this is something that's like, you have to honor your own principles in spite of the difficulties here. What matters most to you? That's the thing that you have to go towards, right? And I feel like right now it just feels impossible. It feels impossible to move forward because you've been humiliated. You feel like you're getting attacked from not only this person, but maybe other different sides. It's very emotionally exhausting for you. It's mentally exhausting. It's also where maybe this person's voice is mirroring an internal voice as well. And so that's setting off a personal trigger that only you can work through, right? It's not because of this person, even though we want it to be. It's not because of this person. This person is just showing that that is something that resides within us, that we can take action towards healing. Okay? It's not that it makes it easy. Let's see what this card is that came out. Yeah, the Magician. This is up to you to manifest a different outcome. But right now we have to put the emotions and the thoughts on the table and truly work towards your dream. Like, that's what we're saying here with the coins and the wands in our hands as a magician. We have to work towards our dreams and not worry about being accepted by anybody, how it appears to anybody else, whether they like what we're doing, whether they hate what we're doing. None of that matters. It only matters that we see the opportunity and learn from our past situations and learn that no matter how much we love a person, right? No matter how much we love another individual in this life, if we give them our power, they have the ability to destroy us based on how they see us or how they talk about us. We have to be so confident in ourselves that no matter how much we love another person, that what they say about us or how they view us isn't going to destroy us, because we trust, believe, and admire ourselves, right? And so that's where the powerful energy is coming from, because it does feel like this person is wanting physical proof. That physical proof is coming in here again with the Page of Coins, wanting physical proof of this working or this gift that you have, or, you know, like that. Like if you draw or something like that, they want physical proof that this is something that you're receiving from divine. And they're creating a lot of turmoil because of that. They're creating a lot of issues in your life. And right now it's important for you to protect yourself emotionally. Look at all these cups energies. You know, we have 5, 6, and 7 of cups coming out, and the Wheel of Fortune. It's important to protect yourself emotionally and network with people who see the world the way that you do right now. Even though you love this person, right? That's okay. Or even this could be a job. Maybe you really love this job, but the point is whatever this is, a person, place, situation, whatever it is, there's a need right now to emotionally disconnect from the outcome and reconnect to what's important to you outside of the opinions of others, right? Connecting with people who are on a similar journey, setting those emotional boundaries, realizing that you don't need physical proof in this world, especially if it's something that you love to do. That's the proof, that's it. That's all the proof that you need, okay? Manifesting a better life for yourself, manifesting a different outcome here, manifesting maybe an opportunity to move away from this person or this situation into something that's far more aligned for you. Yeah, air energy. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, open-mindedness, objectivity, and learning. So there's definitely some sort of lesson that's coming through here, but also keeping an open mind. And I feel like an open mind here is just a reminder that you don't have to look at things the way that you once did, right? Like if this person's opinion was super important to you when you were growing up, it doesn't have to be important to you now. Like it's okay. It's okay, right? And also with air energy, it's that staying detached. If you've got a friend that's an Aquarius, ask them. I'm sure they'd be happy to tell you how not to care about what anybody else thinks. Or if you have Aquarius in your chart, lean into that. Lean into that energy, because Aquarians are so good at teaching us how to stay detached. I mean, most Gemini and Libra can too, but Aquarians are like the real pros at it. They're so good at it. Like that's their essence, is to be unbothered by what people think of them. And I feel like that's the type of energy that you'll definitely benefit by leaning into now. It's being transparent with yourself and being transparent with only the people who truly matter moving forward on the journey. Not the people who are going to tear you down, but the people who, maybe you have a friend who's been with you since day one, right? Like that's something that I'm going to be transparent with them on this, right? Or I'm going to be transparent with someone who I know is cheering me on, but I'm not going to be transparent with the people who have no idea who I am, have any intention of getting to know who I am, or even care about where I'm going in my journey, right? It doesn't matter. Even if it matters to us, it does. And if it doesn't matter to them, like that's all we need to know. It shouldn't matter to us if it doesn't matter to them, which seems like a conundrum in itself, especially when we really care about them. Okay, that one. Yeah, so we have 10th house energy here. You could have 10th house in Sagittarius, Gemini. You could have heavy Pluto placements in your chart. You could have a Pluto stellium is coming in, Pluto in the 10th house, or even Scorpio in the 10th house is coming in. But we have Mercury in Capricorn with organization. It's time to focus on how you want to move forward, right? Making a plan for yourself. organizing your life instead of hoping this person or the situation to see your value and worth. Like, you have the wheat here. Wheat, like beans, always make me feel like the breath of life, right? Like, they're necessary for our survival, right? When farmers were growing wheat, like, that was how we survived for many, many years before we had this mass production of food. You have the cattle down here. There's this farming energy here. And so there's something here where it's like, this is giving you a breath of life, whatever it is that you're doing. And the only thing that matters is that you nurture it. No one else can nurture it. No one else can show up for this. There's also that with the Capricorn energy here, there's that element of discipline, right? Staying disciplined. But this could also be the father wound coming through, and this could be maybe a father. You could be a father, or this is a father that you're dealing with, and they don't see the value in who you are, right? They're very self-centered. They're emotionally disconnected. And that could have been a generational curse that's been passed down in your family, where there's a lot of talented people in your family lineage, but no one ever leaned into their talent because no one got that encouragement from the father energy itself, right? The, oh my gosh, you're doing a great job. Why don't you try this too? Or try it like this time and see how that works for you. Fathers are meant to give us healthy, constructive criticism. Which means, yes, they do, in a sense, criticize our work, but not in a way to put us down. It's always encouraging. It's always safe. It's always a reminder that we can touch the stars if we choose to. Wow, you did such a great job. Like, think about if you're building something, you had a father who gave you constructive criticism, right? You'd be like, wow, you did such a good job. You figured this all out by yourself. And you'd be like, yeah, I did. And they'd be like, this is so cool. Can I check it out? And you'd be like, yeah, sure. And they're like, oh, wow. Hey, let's build another one together, right? And let's see if we can even make it better. And that's something that gets you excited because they're excited about it, right? You're like, yeah, that's awesome. And it's not them trying to control you or anything. It's not even them taking control. It's just them guiding you down that path. And so this really does feel like a father wound coming up for you. But especially with the Gemini and Sagittarius energies here, right? And with Capricorn and Mercury, this does feel like father wound energy. It could be a mother wound, but I do feel like this is father wound energy coming through where it's hard for you to give yourself constructive criticism, where when you are, it just comes out as just sheer ruthless criticism. And they're saying, take a step back and really celebrate how far you've come. Okay, yeah, we have the moon in Capricorn. Wow, a lot of Capricorn energy here, right? Practicality. Okay, so again, grounding yourself, grounding your emotions here. It's hard for Capricorn moon, right? Like, this is when I believe the moon is in its detriment. I'm still learning all these things, so bear with me, but it's hard for Capricorn moons. And it's just emotionally because you have this very structured placement put into this very intuitive and flowy and free placement as well, right? Like, so the planet is the planetary placement, the moon is very fluid. It's run by intuition, right? Which is more spiritual, and Capricorn is more in the physical. And so while they can definitely benefit each other and they get along really great, they can also be very detrimental to one another. And so again, right now it's about taking off those rose-colored glasses and stepping up to this with an essence of logical and practicality so that you can truly make a plan moving forward. Again, we have this energy of the farm here, nurturing your own crops, right? Nurturing your own crops. 10th house energy again. So we got 10-10 coming out. I'm going to leave this out because of that. Yeah, and then we have the sun in Sagittarius on the bottom with enthusiasm. Be enthusiastic about your own work. Be enthusiastic about your own journey, right? Listen to your heart. What your heart wants matters. Okay, thank you. Bottom of the deck. Yeah, Raven energy with news. Okay, so I do feel like you're about to get some news, or something's about to come in that's going to be a message that you've been looking for, or some sort of synchronicity that's going to help you really lean into a deeper truth within yourself that's going to elicit change. Okay, and it might not, like, here's the thing. I'm not going to sit here and say this is going to be super, super positive. Like, you're going to be so excited that this comes in. This could be really hard news. I get that essence that this is something that's going to bounce off the shadow in a very, very unique and interesting way. right? So it's not something that you might be super excited about, but it's going to be something that is helpful for your journey, right? Not everything that we experience is going to be super positive. That's just because life is life, you know? None of us are free from the human experience. We're here to have this human experience, which means that suffering is part of the human condition. It doesn't mean that we have to choose to suffer along with it, right? We can come at it from outside. What is that? It's like externalizing the pain in a sense. So where the pain doesn't become us. We just notice it like a passing cloud. The suffering doesn't become us. We notice it like a passing cloud, right? And that's the thing. And that's much easier said than done. No, I feel like I want to leave that. I was going to move it, but it's interesting. They said, no, leave it there. So, okay. Leave it there. But, wow. Parent-child. Yeah, family. 22 coming in. Wow. Okay, so here we have that confirmation that this is definitely like parent-child relationship. This could be, again, a father and a daughter, a father and a son, a father and a child, just in general, right? A child and a father, whatever the situation here. But we also see if it's not, whatever the situation is mirroring, it's mirroring an old wound that came from your parents' lineage, specifically the father's side, but also this could just be you playing out certain patterns again and needing to address those patterns and really truly love yourself and accept yourself in this moment instead of being so critical of yourself, which is easy to do if you grew up with an incredibly critical voice. But is that critical voice yours, or is that your voice having taken on the form of someone else? Yeah. Look at this full moon in Taurus. Your dreams need a practical plan. And so now it's all about organizing, planning, right? If you fail to plan, plan to fail. Like that's the energy that's coming in here. So it's necessary for you to start planning what you want to do next. Instead of trying to get validation from everyone and instead of trying to be seen, even by the people who are closest in your life, like none of that ultimately matters. It might feel good, but also, if they don't see us and they break us down, it can also keep us from really fulfilling our own dreams. So we have to be empowered enough to realize that it doesn't matter what other people think or say of us, right? And so now the next steps are to bring it into fruition through a plan, taking action. This is how you're going to protect yourself, is taking action, okay? So let's see what else comes out for you here. For pile 3, your divine message. Thank you. Gratitude. I'm thankful for this life and the opportunities it presents. Every hardship is an opportunity for us to grow, to expand, or to enforce lessons that we've already learned, right? So remembering to be grateful no matter what, right? It's kind of makes me think that I've got this smile on my face because I'm glad I'm alive, right? Like that's it. It's just it. That this song has been like my go-to song for the last couple of weeks. You guys have been following me, you know, like Jelly Roll, right? Like that's it. And every morning, I can't make this up. Every morning, that's the first song that pops into my head. Like right as soon as I wake up, it's right there in my head. And I'm just always laughing because I'm like, yep, because that's how I feel right now. It's like, I'm just so glad I'm alive. I've got this smile on my face because I'm glad I'm alive, right? Like that's the thing. It's like there's this energy of just being so happy that you're alive, being so happy that you've been given an opportunity. So many people didn't wake up this morning, you know, and I'm not trying to make it be a downer. It's just when I first started this journey, the thing that I leaned into the most was thank you, Source, for another day to be blessed, another day to celebrate, another day that too many people have been denied. You know, I've had a lot of grief in my family. I've had a lot of loss in my family. And I realized, like, I've had people who left this world at a really young age. You know, my brother, he passed away before his 30th birthday. You know, and that was just it was a shock to our entire family. It was just a wild shock to our family. I had a cousin who passed away when he was 19. I had, you know, like a lot. That's not it. But it's just like, I'm just trying to point it out. It's like so many people weren't given another day. And so when we say we're grateful for this day, we're grateful that you gave us another chance. No matter what comes today, I'm going to show up because this is my day, right? And it's choosing to make it your day. It doesn't automatically promise that it'll be the best day you'll have ever experienced. It's just saying that I choose to be present with whatever comes up, and I'm going to do the best that I can with what I know how in this moment. That's what you're saying, right? And so that's why it's so powerful. And I feel like that's just something to remind yourself. It's like this could be someone that's already passed away, but you're still carrying the hurt. You're still carrying the wound, right? And even in that song he talks about, he's like, I let go of all the hurt I was holding on. What is it? I made peace with the friends that did me wrong. Yeah. Made peace with the amends. He says that. I made amends with the friends that did me wrong. Let go of all the hurt I was holding on. Right? Took the cards I was dealt and started playing right. You found me in the dark. I found the light. Oh. Right? Like, that's the thing. Like, I made amends with the friends that did me wrong. It's not about inviting them back into our lives. Like, sometimes we just have to accept it for what it was and let it go. And let it go. Just be like, look, I can hold on to resentment for forever and let that be a detriment to my journey and who I am. Or I can just accept, you know what, it happened. It was awful. It hurt. It was painful. I took so much in that situation, but I am who I am now, and I let it go. I let go of all that hurt, right? I let it go, and I free myself from that pain. Because that's really what it is. You're only freeing yourself. It's not about giving the people who hurt you a free pass. It's just about freeing yourself. That's all it is. So on the bottom of the, yeah, wow. We have 38 here, feeling traumatized. Have you been going through a really tough year? Yeah, so this is a thing. Like, even this is just a question. Have you been going through a really tough year? Right? We're feeling that in this energy. We're feeling that, like, this has been a rough time for you, whatever this is. It's just like, I just want someone to see me. And that's nice. It's so nice to have someone who sees you, right? But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if they see you or not. You have to see yourself, because you're going to be the only one that gets you through all those hard times. And that sounds lonely. It does, but it's not. Just because you're physically alone doesn't mean that you're alone. But I feel like that's the thing. It's like, this has been really hard for you to overcome. This has been really hard for you to face. But there's something here that's asking for healing. There's something here that's asking for you to show up in a way for yourself that's protecting yourself now. Stop giving yourself to this situation. Stop pouring into this situation. We have 4th house. Go back to the basics. Yeah, so someone from home. This really points towards someone, you know, 4th house energy is our roots. It's our ancestral curses. It's our lineage. It's where we grew up. So this is something that's really been following you for a long time. And now it's just making itself known so that you can face it, so that you can begin to manifest what you want in your life, so that you can change the direction of your life. Okay, it's not putting aside. It's okay that you love them. It's okay that you care about them. It's okay that you want that deeper connection. But sometimes we can want it and realize that it's not a reality. We can dream about it, but realize that that dream is not reality, right? Sometimes we can dream such a beautiful fantasy and live in that fantasy world, and we're like, that's just what has to happen. But it never happens, because that's not what is real. And it's not to say that dreaming is a bad thing. And oftentimes that's how we get to our manifestations. But sometimes we're just dreaming about people who just won't ever have the capacity to heal themselves in this life. Or maybe if you look at it like this, they're just NPCs, right? They're NPCs and we're the main character. They're not going to travel the journey with you, because they're always going to be in their own negative energy. They're always going to be in their own low vibration. You just have to let it go. And I know that is so much easier said than done. Truly. Look, we've got the sun here. Shine, sparkle, and still the spotlight. Now it's time for you to stand out. Now it's time for you to see you and let the world see you. That's why we were talking about networking with people who find value in what you have to offer. You can't ask people who are determined to misunderstand you to suddenly wake up one day and understand you. They're just not going to. They don't have the capacity to, because they don't have the capacity to understand, love, and care about themselves. And that translates into neglect towards you, because they can't give it to themselves. I feel like this one wants to come out next. So let's take a look at this. Look at this. Oh my gosh, we got all Capricorn placements here. 10th house placements. So not only did we get the 10 of swords and the 10 of wands, now we have the 10th house, 10th house, 10th house, and all three of these. We have Venus and Mercury with convention. Yeah, sometimes, okay, so Venus and Mercury, like this is something that's like, it feels very conventional. So like this could be, again, we were getting this parent-child relationship here with the Judgment card. But this could also be someone that you have a family with, right? So this could be a spouse, and there's something very conventional about your relationship. And it's like, oh, I have to trust that this is going to work out in the long run. And I'm not here to tell you to leave somebody. That's not what I'm here to do. You have to trust your own intuition and trust the journey and where it's taking you. So that's for you to ask and to garner that information from your own higher self, right? And it's easy to want somebody in this position to tell you what to do, because it's like, well, then I can wipe my hands of it. But that's not what we're here to do. We're just here to give you the energy, and you take it for what it is, right? But the thing here is that convention isn't necessarily like, it's convention because it's something that everybody's come to accept, right? And so it feels like going from this Capricorn energy into Aquarius energy. Like there's that need to take the next step into going from what was accepted by everyone that you knew into a place of no longer being accepted by everyone that you knew and only accepting yourself, so that you can call in the people who matter. Look at, oh my gosh. Okay, so this could be a Capricorn that you're dealing with. We've got Capricorn energy here. Whoa. Wild energy. You could have Capricorn in the 10th house. This could be a Capricorn that you're dealing with, but again, pointing towards the father wound here. You know, Saturn, Capricorn, the 10th house energy is all the father of the zodiac. And, you know, you also have the 4th house here. So it could be a mother who's a Capricorn. The 4th house, Cancer, and the moon energy all talk about the mother of the zodiac. Okay, so like the mother energy. But this is also just talking about, this is a deep wound. This is something that came up from a very early time, when it came to your ambition, when it came to you making a plan, right? Those methodical steps. And when it came to you being real about what was in front of you. What is tangible right now? What is the tangible proof of the situation as it's unfolding? And that's what you need to rely on. Not the hopes, not the dreams, right? Not this 12th house energy of building an illusion and hoping that that illusion comes to fruition. Right now, it's again taking off those rose-colored glasses of love and looking at the situation for the reality of what it is. No matter how uncomfortable or how much that hurts, this is how you come into a state of self-preservation. Look, we've got fear here with hyena. This is something that you've been scared to do. We also got 38 here on this card, right? So feeling traumatized. So 11 and 11 here. This is a spiritual awakening for you, and it's very uncomfortable, right? It's moving from this place of fear, this traumatized energy, into this abundant energy where you can tend your own crops, where you can tend your own journey without what this person thinks or sees you or how they act towards you. It doesn't ultimately matter. Sometimes you have to let people stew in their own discomfort, right? Look at this loss, reversal of fortune. This feels like a great loss to you. There's definitely an identity here where it's like you've identified with the situation, you've identified with this person, or you've identified with the title, the role, or the position that this person holds in your life, that really matters a lot to you. And that's okay that that matters a lot to you. But sometimes, again, just because someone has that title, that role, or that position, that does not make them worthy of holding that place for in your life in that state for forever, right? Sometimes we just have to realize that's not what I'm ever going to get from this. I have to take care of myself. I have to watch out for myself. And that's why we're saying moving away from this. But it does feel like it's a huge loss to your system right now. It's a huge loss to you. And they're saying, let go, right? What do you need to release with waning moon? I mean, this is a very clear energy coming in here. It's a very difficult energy. And that's why I was saying, you might very well resonate with the collective message I did at the beginning. But the thing here is proof, right? I need proof. But I feel like this person or this place or this situation is constantly proving to you that they're not worthy of being in your life. They're not worthy of taking that next step with you. They're trying to drag you down. They're trying to make you feel unseen. They're trying to make you feel unheard. They're trying to make you feel bad about you being you. And that's not necessarily fair or right. But again, it's like, it might be right to them, right? That those choices might be right to them because that's all they know. You can't say that it's right or wrong. You can just say that that doesn't feel right to me, because there is no right or wrong. There's only what's right or wrong for you. And that choice will allow you to either stay where you're at or move forward. Again, not a wrong or right choice, just what feels right in the moment for you. And that's okay. But it's very clear here. What do you need to release? This has been a very difficult year for you. There's been a lot of trauma that's come up. And I feel like this trauma has come up in regards to your ability to manifest something in your life that's in accordance with where your 10th house is taking you. Okay, trust. I accept that my inner voice will always guide me correctly. Exactly. So right now is trusting your intuition, trusting yourself, trusting that you know what matters for yourself and going that direction. Okay, it doesn't matter how other people see you. That's not our business. People are going to think what they think. People are going to say what they want to say. People are going to talk when they want to talk. They're not going to talk when they don't want to talk. They're going to stand up for you when they want to stand up for you. They're not going to stand up for you. They're going to bully you. They're going to make you, paint you out to be a good guy. They're going to paint you out to be a bad guy. Every day we wake up, we're a different person to every person that we run into in the world. So ultimately, it will never truly matter, because people will only see a portion of us. They never see the whole of us. And that's why it feels like this person or this place or this situation is determined to misunderstand you, because they are only seeing you through their own perspective of who you are capable of being in their minds. So if you're only capable of being small and a failure, that's all they're ever going to see, no matter how successful you become. You could become the most successful person tomorrow, wake up and everything works out for you. You become suddenly famous and rich. The whole world is so excited you're here. This individual is still going to find something to judge you based on, because they're determined to not see your value and worth, because they do not understand, recognize, or see their own intrinsic value and worth. They only see the ego, and they're only living from the ego. And sometimes we have to let them live from that ego, because that's where they're at. The sun, again, so we've got the sun coming out twice for you here. It's okay for you to be seen and heard. It's okay for you to steal the spotlight. So this could also be someone who's jealous of you because you are seen by a lot of other people, and they don't like that. They want to be the one that's seen. This could also be someone that has Leo highly aspect in their chart. You could have Leo in the 8th house with the 8 card here and the sun. It says this card heralds great success. You're on the winning team. Yeah, good things are meant to come towards you, pile one. That's what source is saying here. Your divine message is very clear. There's something here where you're facing a great loss. Take the time to grieve this great loss. Okay, there's no rush here. Like, no one's saying you have to get over this tomorrow. No, this is about you taking that time to grieve this loss. It is a loss, right? And it feels like things are going backwards. There's a lot of fear that's here that's coming up for you. But when you're able to release this with a clear conscience and a full heart and contentment that it was everything that it was, and it couldn't have been anything that it wasn't, because it wasn't, right? And being content with that and realizing that I can move on to bigger and better things, right? Sometimes it's hard for us to come from a place of contentment, but it is empowering for us to come from a place of contentment. It just means we can't change what happened. And we'll never have that ability to go back in time to change what happened. And there's nothing that we can do to inspire change in this person if they don't want to change themselves, right? It's like those people who say you can't teach an old dog new tricks. That's the biggest lie I've ever heard in my life. You can teach any dog new tricks. As long as they're motivated and you show up with patience and perseverance and peace, you can teach. It doesn't matter if they're a year old or if they're 17 years old. It doesn't matter. You can teach a dog new tricks all the time in their life. But if that's the mindset that they have put themselves into a box, basically saying, once I reached a certain age, I was never going to change, and I'm not going to change now, right? And so you have to leave them in that disorderly conduct place of chaos and not try to join them in their little miniature box that is already super uncomfortable to be in. Let's take a look at your card. I'm going to read this from the book. We're going to see what it says. Sisters of the Rising Sun. Okay, so it's time for you to find your tribe too. Like, this is the other thing. To be with that empowered state of self, sense of your divine feminine, lean into your creative self, right? So it says you are a highly creative being. Yeah. Again, in 28 is 10. So 10 might be your number. You could be a life path 10, or you could be a life path 1. You could have been born in October 10th. You could have been born on, you could be the Capricorn here on 110, January 10th. So it says you are a highly creative being with potential to help raise the vibration of consciousness on this planet through your creative projects, work, dreams, and hobbies. The power of collaboration, choosing to work with others in joint projects, allows for synergy to occur where you can grow stronger and become more than the sum of your individual parts, calling in great cosmic assistance and potency. You are guided to remain open to other souls joining forces with you, just like the Sisters of the Sun. You got so much sun energy coming out here too, of the sun rising, that bring great energy to help humanity through their group endeavors. When you allow for aligned group effort, much that is wonderful can occur. It is an important part of the spiritual journey to learn who you are and how you work, and often solitary work is a helpful way to do this. Yet there are times when you are strong enough to work with others without losing yourself or your unique approach to creative endeavors. Collaboration is suggested for you now to allow you to expand your horizons, to meet more people, share your light, have more fun. Your collaborations may be with spiritual guides or with souls incarnated and coming into your life in the form of colleagues, friends, and helpers now. Trust your instincts and be discerning in what you accept and what you let pass by. There will be plenty of opportunities for you as you are open to them. Do trust yourself enough to take a leap and some risks that feel uplifting for you in reaching out or accepting the offer that others to work together. So right now it's about collaborating with like-minded individuals. We saw that, branching out, networking, allowing yourself to be seen by others, and trusting that this is where you're at, right? It may not rub right for this person or this situation, but that's not up to them. You have a journey that you need to fulfill, Pile 1, and you're the only one that can walk it. No one can walk the journey with you. There are people who will meet you and walk beside you along this journey, and those are the ones to stay open for. But if someone has proven time and time again that they can't even meet you where you're at, it's okay to let go and to choose yourself and to choose to focus on being seen as you are without worry about what others think, okay? So this is what I see here for you today, Pile number 1. If you felt like this was your message and you'd like to claim it below, leave the sun emoji. And if you'd like to go a little further, just say that today I choose my unique, authentic self, letting my weird guide me to my other weird soul tribe. And if it resonated with you, it means so much to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. And if you're interested in supporting the channel further, you will find everything you need in the description box. I would like to take a moment to thank your guides, your spirit messengers, your angel source, and my spirit guides for coming together to give us this truly powerful message. And until next time, Pile number 1, stay human. Bye. Hello, Pile number 2. If you were drawn to this dice with the first house on it, or perhaps you felt called to this piece of Lapis Lazuli, or maybe you were drawn to this card during the shuffle, this is going to be your message from the divine. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. If you're new here, thanks so much for joining us. I'm so excited to be sharing this human experience with you all. I do things differently here, so there might be triggering statements that arise on the readings themselves. There's no obligation to force it to fit, while keeping in mind that triggers can be a beautiful blueprint for us to deepen our healing journeys. All right, so I was getting a channeled message for you, and that is that you either are getting inspired to take a risk, or you just took a risk. And it's like fortune favors the brave. this message came in really strong, and also fighting the good fight. So there's something here that really matters to you. There's something here that you really want to do. And there's something here that feels in alignment with you. And Source is saying this is the green light, that this is very advantageous for you moving forward. And that it's worth leaning into. Even if things don't happen right away, keep going down this path, because you're gaining some sort of experience from it. You're gaining some sort of wisdom and knowledge from this. It could be a collaboration. This could also just be choosing to create something. This could be finally finishing something and getting started, right? Like maybe you've gotten a certificate recently and you're about to get started into something, and that's where you're going. Plus, I just really need to give a shout out right here. Congratulations, bestie, because I haven't had a chance to text you back yet, and I just wanted to say, and I feel like this is a good place to say it, so congratulations to you. And I feel like that needs to be said. Like, woo, I'm so excited for her. All right, so yeah, some of you guys may have really recently finished something, or have overcome something, or you are about to start something new. And this is like that first step into the unknown. And that is such a powerful place to go. And that's where Source is saying, like, fortune favors the brave. No guts, no glory, right? And that's the thing. And so they're saying, like, fight the good fight and trust yourself as you go. Your message from the divine, pile 2. Your message from the divine. Yeah, it really feels like you need to put yourself out there now. Now that you're where you're at, put yourself out there. Go for it. See what happens. I feel like that's the main thing, is just see what happens. Like, regardless of the promise of success or not, just can you be okay with seeing what happens, where the road leads? Letting it be an adventure, letting it be something that is not clear, but has the potential for some really great things, right? Yes. Oh my gosh, I love this. Okay, so we have the first house, Pisces, and North Node. Yes, I love this. It's all about showing yourself, right? There's something here where maybe before it was just easier for you to stay in, like, I'm getting like the hermit mode, like disconnected, just kind of drawing away from people, which is fine, right? That's a very powerful place for us to be in. It is a part of our journeys many times throughout our journey. Like, we have to pull away from people and we have to reconnect with ourselves so that we can put ourselves back out there. But with this first house in Pisces, there's something here that you're going to be giving to the world as a collective, right? Some sort of wisdom that you're going to be helping the collective with, some sort of love that you're going to be helping the collective with, some sort of light, some sort of empathy, understanding, assistance, like, and it feels very spiritual by nature, right? This could be a gift, a spiritual gift. This could be a spiritual work environment that you're going into. This could be a spiritual sense of creation, right? Like, whatever it is, it feels like it's coming straight from divine. It's coming straight through you as some sort of channel. And you don't have to be like it does. Please don't compare yourself to someone like me up here, right? Like, don't compare yourself to anybody, right? But what I'm saying is, like, you're like, oh, I'm not a tarot reader. Like, I don't do that. That's not what this is. This is like, say you're an artist, right? Like, maybe you paint. And that's you channeling divine energy. Like, when you're so focused on what you're painting and the hours feel like minutes, but you've been there for so long, you just like totally lose yourself in the time. Like, those are moments of channeling, whether you realize that or not. It's also what in positive psychology they call Zen, states of Zen. And that is when you're really tapped into divine energy, right? When you're in alignment with yourself and with the, and it's basically become a channel for whatever the divine is bringing to you, inspiration, motivation, a truth, a message, whatever it is. And even if it's painting, there's still a message there, right? Like, thinking about painters that have passed on from this world and like their famous works of art, there's still a message there, and it inspires everybody differently. And it's like they even have arguments and debates about paints and stuff like that, how it's supposed to be interpreted and this, that, and the other. And I feel like ultimately the interpretation of the original artist is going to vastly different from the interpretation of the people who witness it afterwards. But it doesn't mean that it can't inspire And it doesn't mean that it can't impact them in a very positive and influential way. And I feel like that's what Source is saying here. There's like something that you're supposed to influence others. There's something that you're supposed to do, some sort of risk that you're supposed to take that feels very scary. But I also feel like the minute that you step into that energy, you're going to also feel like a boost of energy and a boost of wisdom and a boost of self-confidence here, and trusting that your leadership is sound, and trusting that you have this beautiful bright light that's meant to be seen by the collective. It feels like the collective, okay? Now, when I say collective, I'm not saying it has to be a worldly collective. This could be the few, right? This could be 1 or 2 people, but it could be a lot of people. It just depends on what it is that you're looking at. But I do feel like you're going to be helping people and assisting people with something incredibly profound that they didn't necessarily know that they needed until they met you, right? And that's what this really feels like. And so taking that risk. You also picked the Lapis Lazuli, and that's about our third eye, right? Like that's connecting with our third eye. And with the North Node here, it's like your third eye has spoken. This is the journey ahead, and this is the journey I wish to be on. Yeah, there's something really beneficial here, right? With the 10 of coins in the upright, and then you have the 5 of wands here in the upright. And it's just saying here, it's just showing that there's this energy of regaining your balance after a potential loss, or regaining your balance after a potential hardship, and finding stability in this world. And it could be monetary gain here, but I feel like this also is just pointing towards a physical manifestation of this in this physical realm, where you can finally see it going from the dream world, or going from your imagination into this physical world. Yeah, where before you were having trouble creatively expressing this because of people who had an issue with the way that you see the world, or with the way that you are, right? People who see your leadership as a threat to them, and they don't like that, and so they might be trying to keep you small. And right now it's about focusing on what feels right for you, and connecting with people who are on a similar journey as you are, or who are doing the same things that you are. So is there a community forum that you can connect with? Is there like, you know, I just recently found this where I'm at, and I didn't know that it existed, but like yoga in the park, like if it's yoga, right? This is just an example, but there's like free yoga in the park once a week nearby over here. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. So I was looking into that. Or like if you're making music, maybe it doesn't have to be something that costs money, right? Like you could go and connect with people at free concerts and stuff like that. It doesn't have to be something you're pouring a lot of financial resources into, because oftentimes our community is going to pop up in the most random of places. But you can absolutely invest your financial resources on this. But I just feel like Source is telling you, like, find creative ways to connect with the community that you feel is best aligned with whatever it is that you're offering. So if there's like some sort of community online, some sort of blog you can follow, some sort of YouTube channel you can follow and connect with other followers, whatever it is, right? Because it's going to help you find your community, or at least people who are supportive of what you're doing. And we need that more than we need people's judgmental voices in this time. All right, so for pile number 2, your message from the divine. Your message from the divine. Whoa. Yeah, okay, interesting. Your message from the divine. Let go of attachment to money right now too, and I know that's scary. That's a really scary thing, but this is something that's going to help you build confidence on the journey moving forward. Okay, bottom of the deck, yeah, we have the 3 of Cups. There's something here that you're going to be celebrating in time, right? Not necessarily tomorrow, not necessarily next week, but right now I feel like there's a double celebration here. Celebrate how far you've already come. There's also going to be a celebration in the future where you're going to be like, I'm so glad I took this risk. I'm so glad that I overcame my fear. I'm so glad that I let go of holding back. Yeah, because there's, oh yeah, interesting. Okay. Yeah, because there's something here where there's a disconnect, and I feel like it's coming from people who, you know, the Page of Swords is somebody who doesn't want to face reality, right? Like, it's somebody who doesn't want to see the reality that things could be different, the reality that things are different. So this also feels like an internal voice here where there's a part of you that's saying like, oh, it'll never be different than it is already. Like it's always going to be the same. I'm always going to be struggling. I'm always going to be one step behind reality, or I'm always going to be one step behind everyone else. You know, like you're seeing AI come out and it's like, well, I don't know AI, but everybody's becoming successful off of AI. How could I become successful off of something that's analog? Right? And if you don't know what that is, that's fine. That wasn't your message, but that's the energy here, that it's like, how can I become successful off of something that just kind of doesn't seem like it exists in the world anymore? But I feel like that's the thing. There is still a need for whatever this is. There's still a group of people out there who need whatever this is that you're doing. There's still people who are looking for you. Like I said, it's like they didn't know they needed you until they stumble upon you or until they connect with you. And so if you're not putting yourself out there, how can you ever meet the right person? And that's what it feels like. Source is always going to put us in situations where we meet unique people along our journey. And when we meet them, we're going to see that like, oh, this person was someone I was meant to meet. This person is someone that I was meant to run into. You know, we don't meet people by chance. Some people are here for a moment. What is it? People are here for a blessing, a lesson, or a lifetime. Like that's a real thing. Everybody in our life, like they bring something to us. They help us make a choice for ourselves. And right now, the choice is to align with this essence of happiness, of celebration, of new beginning, and let go of this past energy that is disbelief that things could ever work out for you. That's why they're saying, don't hold on to money. That was the message. Don't hold on to money. Because I feel like you're measuring your success based on the amount of money that you're earning from this. So if it's, say you're knitting, okay, like you're knitting a stuffed animal, right? Or a scarf or something, right? And you sell it on Etsy. And it's like, oh, I've sold a couple, but I've only made like $30. And I've been on Etsy for like 2 years, right? But you love to knit and you love to sell them on Etsy and you love to be able to at least put your product out there, right? Like, why would you stop? But don't just let Etsy be the only platform that you use. You know, like put yourself out there, make cards, talk about knitting where you go into knitting forums, go into you know, like quilting communities. There's a lady that was down here. She was a quilter and she would go to little quilt conventions. So if there's quilt conventions, there's knitting conventions. Okay, you see what I'm saying though? Like that. There's yoga conventions, there's meditation conventions, there's retreats, there's art things that you can do, like the sip and paint. You know, have you ever seen that where you sip on wine and you go and you paint in a group of people, and there's all these things. So like whatever it is that you do, there's a community out there that you can connect with that will help you feel supported. But stop holding on to the money, because it's like if you're only measuring your success based on the money that you're receiving, especially in the beginning, that's that false measurement, right? It's saying, but it's tangible, it's tangible. It's like I only got $30, so that must mean that I'm not supposed to do it. But that's not what this is at all, because there's something here about your heart driving you and wanting this to be a creative aspect of your life. And I feel like the whole world measures everything based on our financial gain or our financial losses. And money is an energy. It comes and goes. Like it comes and goes. That's just what money is. It ebbs and it flows. You know, I remember my ex's mom, she always said, is it the year of the fat cow or the year of the skinny cow? And that stuck with me. Es el año la vaca gorda or la flaca, right? That's the thing. La vaca flaca or la vaca gorda. Like that was the thing. And that's what cracked me up, is like the fat cow or the skinny cow, right? Like which year is it? And that's the thing. It's never like, it's telling, because that's exactly how farm life is, right? Like they could have a great crop. They could have a great season. They could have a great yield. They could have an incredible, you know, cattle group. They could have everything that they need to have success. But when they go to the cattle market or whatever it is, they might not sell all their cattle, right? Like it might not be a fat year, even though they have all the positive outcome for that. So if we measure our success based on that alone, we're going to give up. Can you imagine if all farmers based their life on that? No, it's like they prepare for the skinny years and they live in excess in the abundance years. And I'm not saying like super excess. I'm just saying like those are the years that they get to celebrate. But they don't measure their worth and their value based on a good or a bad year, because they know that's just a part of the game. That's a part of life. And so that's why with the Six of Wands here, It's letting go of holding on to the money, the monetary gain here. Even though it can point to greed too, and it can point to others being greedy here. But the energy that I'm getting is like letting go of the monetary gain here and let it unfold to whatever it's meant to become. Yeah, it's letting go of, again, having trouble dealing with reality, letting something fall apart to fall into place here, right? This is like knocking the ego off its high horse and allowing your spirit to emerge. And that's what this feels like. It's like, let the spirit emerge. Let the spirit take you on this journey, this adventure. Let yourself experience what's next to come. Don't measure your worth based on numbers. Don't measure your worth based on what you can physically see. Measure your worth and your success on how you feel about yourself. Do you feel good doing what you're doing? Then it's worthy, it's valuable, right? It holds more worth and value than money ever could. But the thing is, it's so interesting that this is coming up because I watched this video this morning. Do you guys, if you know who Chris One is, KRS1, I just learned about him this morning. I happened upon one of his videos, and his video was so wild. He was up there teaching, and he was saying, he's like, I want you guys, I'm going to count to 3, and I want you guys to say hip hop, but I don't want you to say it out loud, right? So he says 1, 2, 3, and he pauses so everyone can internally say hip hop. He says, okay, I want you guys to do it again. 1, 2, 3. And he says, you heard that, right? You spoke, but you didn't speak with your mouth. So who was it that spoke to you, right? And then he's like, and then he also said that, it was so cute because when he said that, who spoke to you? A little baby was like, ah, in the audience. It was so cute. A little newborn baby. It was so cute. The whole time the baby was silent. And when he said, who spoke? The baby spoke. And I thought that was so cute because it was like Source was saying, yeah, that's right. This is good. And it was just such a cute moment. And the baby again went silent, and he asked the question again, and the baby was like responding to him, who spoke? And the baby made the noise again. And he's like, and you heard, even though you didn't speak out loud, you didn't hear with your physical ears, but you heard yourself say hip hop in your mind, right? Like you heard that. So who is it that you're speaking to? And that's like, and he said, he's like, when you go into these places and people say, oh, you know, when you go into Egypt and they have the words up there, know thyself. And he's like, people say that, oh, that's cool, that's right, know thyself. But most people say it out loud. And he's like, but the truth is to say it internally so that you can know yourself, right? And I felt like that was really popular. But the thing is that why I brought this up, and I want you to see, is like he's teaching, and he's teaching these incredibly valuable things. He's like talking about how if he held his breath for 4 minutes, he's like, my heart doesn't stop, my mind doesn't, or my brain doesn't stop, my body functions, you know, really don't stop. The only thing that stops is I lose consciousness if I hold my breath for too long. I lose consciousness, but my body stays, right? And I thought that was such a powerful message. But there was a point where 50 Cent was talking about him and saying how, well, Chris One, he used to be my go-to guy, but then he became a teacher, and it became less about the marketing, and it became more about his teachings. And he's like, he lost sight of himself. This is what 50 Cent had said in this video. He lost sight of himself because it became more about his teachings than it did become about him getting sponsored or getting record deals or getting this. And I just happened to listen to one song, and it was the hold on, oh my gosh, the name of the song is just totally, it's like right there. But okay, well, anyways, it'll come to me. Anyways, what he was talking about in that was the exact same thing. It was almost like I watched these videos in tandem with one another, but the video that I watched of his, the music video, came out years before this interview with 50 Cent. And the video that I watched of his with the music, it was talking about how he's like, you know, talent is talent regardless if you have money or not. And that's the thing he says. He's like, let's stop chasing the marketing. Let's stop doing this. Let's stop trying to get big and be seen by the world when it's all about us passing on the message. But 50 Cent was so mad about him passing on the message instead of focusing on growing the ego. And it was so weird when I was watching this video because I kept thinking, I was like, man, he's coming from such an egoic place. I was like, he doesn't recognize the power behind the words. He's only seeing the power behind the money. And I thought that's nothing, you know, against him or anything. That's his choice. But that's how it felt when I was watching this video. And then I happened to just click on one of Chris One's songs after that. And it was talking about exactly what I intuitively felt in that moment. Let's stop chasing the money. Let's really listen to the message. And it was about, it was just about like letting go of that hold on to trying to be the most seen or trying to be the most popular, trying to grow up on the billboard and like this. And I feel like that's something to let go of. And I feel like it's human nature, right? That's driven by our emotional ego. Everybody's like that, you know. And I'll never forget one time I had a conversation with one of my twin nephews. And he loves to buy nice clothes, and he loves to have all his clothes matching. Like, he's so adorable. I just love him to death. But he like has all, and then his twin is just not like that at all. Like, he's just a boy's boy, right? Like, well, now I guess they're men, right? Like, so he's a man's man. And so, but one of the twin boys, and I was telling him at one point, and he's like, you know, I can only buy Jordans. I can only buy Jordans. And I looked at him and I said, why? And he's like, because Jordans are the only things that matter. That's the only thing that people pay attention to. And I looked at him and I said, who are you if you don't own a pair of Jordans? I asked him that question, and he stopped and he looked at me and he goes, well, I guess I'm still me. And I was like, right. So why does it matter if you wear Jordans or not? I was like, if you're only worried about the name brand, if you're only worried about impressing everyone else, I was like, you're not being you. And he's like, I never thought about it that way. And that was just such a profound moment to have with a family member, my nephew, right? Like that was. And so, but I feel like that's the thing. It's like, if no one tells you that, even though you know it, right? Like, even though you know it, sometimes you just need someone to tell us that, like, it's not about the money that you earn. Even though everybody in this realm measures their success by the bank band they have in their pocket. That's not what success is. That's never been success. You could talk to some of the richest people in the world and they still might not be happy. They might not still have a sense of fulfillment. But whatever it is that you're doing is going to bring a sense of purpose and fulfillment into your life. And that's why they're saying to let go of the attachment to the monetary gain here. Right? That's blocking the spirit. When you block the spirit, you block the message, you block whatever it is you're meant to bring to these people. Because you're like basically reaching out a hand and guiding people over some barrier, or you're guiding people onto this next phase, or you're guiding people into, you know, a healing, whatever it is. And that's the same with art, right? We go back to art. It's like, if you're only worried about making the money, you're never going to be authentically expressing yourself in your art. And so, yeah, maybe you can change who you are, right? Why do I hear that Pink song? What is it? I hate damn Britney Spears. She's so pretty, but that just ain't me, right? They said that will make you popular if you can change everything you are, right? But that's what she's saying. She's like, in the song, doctor, doctor, won't you please prescribe me something? Because I'm a hazard to myself. Don't let me get me, right? Like, that's the thing. It's like, I'm my own worst enemy. So the thing is like, that's the thing. It's like, you're your own worst enemy when you're holding on to something that's telling you to change who you are just so that you can receive that. And I'm guilty of this too, right? I've had to let go of things that brought me financial success, but were killing me inside, right? Like, we're just making me feel dull and empty inside. And you have to let go and trust that the path is going to get you where you need to go. We will never go hungry. We will never struggle for our basic necessities. Source will always take care of us. And if you have faith in that, then you'll always have faith that you'll be fed. You'll have a roof over your head. And I know that this isn't always true for everybody, but again, how much faith did they have in themselves and in what it was that they were doing? And so there's something here where it's like letting go of a reality that has been all that you've held on to for so long, that has actually created this identity, this emotional egoic identity that is tied to greed. Well, I need to have $10 million a month in order for me to feel good about myself, right? Just an example. We're going to make it something incredibly wild here. But rather than seeing like, I want to be fulfilled and I want to help people and I want to contribute, right? Did I give more than I took? Like that's another line in a song, and I can't remember the name of the song right now, but that's a line in a song. Did I give more than I took, right? And that's so powerful to think about. And so I feel like that's what Source is saying here, and that's what your message from the divine is to let go of the proverbial greed here, right? Not saying that you're greedy. I'm just saying there's an identity with money that's coming up, that's playing a part in how you're showing up, that's keeping you from being authentic, that's keeping you from being real, that's keeping you from truly being seen, because you have something beautiful to give to the world, to the collective, that's meant to be seen for what it is without that attachment to money. And that's the thing. It's like they're saying that money is going to come, but you have to trust in the process as well. This is something that's been a challenge for you, a challenging situation and a mountain to climb. And again, it feels, even though we have a Wands card here, it feels very monetary based. Like it feels very, very much material based. And this is something that's been a struggle. And part of that could be because maybe you've spent a lot of your life struggling. Like maybe you came from a impoverished family. Maybe you came from a poverty mindset, right? Like these are all things that you could be working through at this time. But part of surrender in this moment is to help you unwind the cord that has been wound so tight around your belief that you are worthy of good things. And so that's why this is such a challenge, okay? You could also have a lot of squares in your chart. You could be a Leo. You could have Sagittarius in your chart, Cancer, Pisces, Virgo, North or South nodes. You could have Cancer, Capricorn, North or South nodes, Sagittarius, Gemini, North or South nodes, or Leo, Aquarius, North or South nodes coming in. Aries energy here, independence, bravery, and passion. The big bang, take a risk. Take a risk. Aries are great at taking risks. Like they're great at starting something new and not worrying about consequences. They just rush in and see where it's going to take them. Now, Aries, they do have a problem with the mundane. Once they get to the central work of it, they just want to, like, they like the rush of the beginning, right? Most cardinal signs are like that. They like the rush of the beginning because they're the beginning of the seasons, right? You have Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. They're all the beginning of the seasons: spring, summer, fall, and winter. And so they are used to that big rush of energy, that big rush of change to move into a new season. And sometimes they struggle with the mundane, the central part of the work, which is more that fixed energy, which is Leo, Aquarius, Taurus, and Scorpio energy. That's that fixed energy coming in. They're really good at maintaining. Okay, but right now it's about taking that new beginning, taking that first step, and then knowing that the next steps are going to be mundane, right? They're going to be just the work itself, but leaning into that instead of into when's the wealth going to come? When is the money going to come? Because I feel like the money is what's holding you back from being true to yourself. Look at this. Sun in Scorpio, we have endurance. Yeah, there's something about enduring here. Like, that's the thing. We have 8th house placements here. So you could have a lot of 8th house placements. You could have Scorpio in the 8th house. You could have a Scorpio trine. Is that right? A Scorpio stellium. That's what, yeah. You could have a water trine coming in as well. But I feel like that's the thing. It's like, this is all about taking that initial step and then letting endurance carry you through. Letting the feeling of being fulfilled and having a purpose be what carries you through the boring, mundane part of it all. Again, fixed energy, Taurus energy here with Taurus in Venus, the 2nd house energy, romance, right? Can you romanticize the boring aspects? And I feel like romance is such a telling energy to come up too. I mean, it could be in love. This could be in love, but I feel like this is just a really telling energy because everybody romanticizes having a partner in their life, and they romanticize the fun parts, right? Like the excitement, the honeymoon phase, like all of that gets romanticized. And then what never really gets talked about is the mundane, right? Those moments of monotony, those moments where it is kind of boring. Like we found a routine. We're now just day to day. We have this routine that's set, and that's what life is all the way around. But sometimes the routine itself can be what's detrimental to us. And instead of letting the routine be detrimental, realizing that that's a part of the process, right? falling into the routine is a part of this process. And the routine, in the routine itself, we can find our freedom, because we don't have to deviate from the routine. We let ourselves experience the routine and gain the wisdom of what it's bringing to us, so that we can be fully experienced in our expression and fully true to who we are in our expression. Yeah, we have the 11th house here with Venus in Aquarius with detachment. Yeah, being detached to the outcome, right? Again, it's like there's a lot of different points here that are playing a part with this. And I feel like the thing is that you're getting messages from source. You're getting messages through your third eye. But there's also a want for this to happen in a certain time frame. And they're saying don't worry about the time frame itself, right? There's all these numbers. Don't measure it in numbers on this card. See, you have 35, 36. Like these are all mapped out here on this person's head. And I feel like that's the thing. They're saying don't measure your success in numbers, because it's not about the numbers. And I feel like it's really telling for it to come through on the head itself, because it's showing that this is a mindset that's at play here for you, is basing it on the numbers. And the numbers actually aren't a telltale sign of whether or not we're being successful. Success comes, it's like an internal feeling, like happiness. Are you able to cultivate success through happiness, contentment, freedom of expression, right? These are things that are far more accessible and valuable to us on our journey as we continue to grow and have a much more grounded success rate. Yeah, the truth with 44, Jekyll. Yeah, so there's something here about leaning into being who you are without attachment to what that's going to bring into your life. Because I feel like there's so many beautiful things that are waiting to manifest in your life, but you might be holding on to the outcome, right? Like, when's the money going to come? When's the fame going to come? When's the fortune going to come? When's my ability to do this going to come? Right? Like it's holding on to outcomes instead of just being like, wow, I'm so glad I get to enjoy doing this and showing up for this each and every day. Like, I really love what I'm doing and I'm just want to pour into it. I'll continue to pour into it, right? That's what it is. That's where you find your peace at. Yeah, shaman, that's the most healing thing you can do. It's changing your perspective and seeing the healing that comes from showing up for whatever it is that you're doing. This also is giving me that energy that you're going to be healing others. In some way, shape, or form, you're going to be healing others, providing something beautiful to others. Something profound, something powerful, right? Whoa. Yeah, look at this. A win-win outcome is forecast. A full moon in Libra. So there's a need to find balance here. Because no matter what, like, you're going to be winning while you're doing this. Right? If you're happy, that's a win. If you feel content, that's a win. If you feel at peace, that's a win. It shouldn't be we only feel good when we have monetary gain. But I feel like sometimes as a collective, because that's such a highly focused on societal construct, that's really the only thing that we can hold on to. And that's one of the deepest wounds that we have as a society, is our identity with money. Instead of having a relationship with money, we identify with it. And money is a tool. It's not our worth. It's not who we are. It's not our value. It's not any of that. But we identify with it so much, and we make all those things a part of us, right? Kind of like my nephew with the shoes. He was identifying with the shoes and not with himself. And I've watched him change over the years into this very humble, incredible, and powerful, smart, intelligent young man. And to move away from this more, and not because of me. I don't feel like, I mean, I feel like maybe I've guided him a little, but I don't feel like it's because of me. I just feel like that I get to watch him grow into somebody who's not so driven by the mundane anymore and more focused on his spiritual ascent. And I just really enjoy watching that, because it's powerful. And I feel like sometimes when we have one person who can say something to us in our lives, it can impact us in a very profound way. And I feel like if I can just provide that, you know, here and there, it's not about being constant. It's not about always being that healing guidance in his life. It's just about being someone that shows up from a very grounded state of, you know, it's not what everybody points it out to be. When we have that, right? I imagine if I'd had someone like that growing up when I was his age, how would that have impacted me in my life moving forward into my 20s? And I feel like that's the thing, like I would have been a much different person if I'd had that key advice in those times, or just someone who's like, hey, here's a little bit of wisdom and advice, this is how it's impacting my life too, and not make a big deal about it, not be like, you have to do this, you have to change yourself, you know, just a key question that would make you think about it yourself. That's the thing. And I feel like that's the thing. It's like maybe you've never had someone who asked you that, or who brought it up in a way of where, even though you feel this way, right? I feel like it's not about money for you, but there's still some sort of attachment there. There's still some sort of identity with it there. And that could be because your entire life was made out to be identified with money. Like you could have come from a family that was impoverished and it was all about living paycheck to paycheck. And of course you're going to identify with money in those senses, because when are we going to eat next? When are we going to have enough to pay bills? When are we going to have enough to make sure that we have a roof over our heads, right? Like it's always a fear-based identity around money. And so letting that go is something that's going to be super beneficial to you. And that's why it's about finding that balance and coming back into a balanced state and trusting that you know the direction that's going to bring you the most comfort. But I feel like the most contentment is, that's the powerful measurement of success here, is contentment. Are you happy? Do you feel free? Do you feel like you're expressing yourself? Do you feel like you have a sense of intrinsic worth and value that's not tied to anything materialistic in the world, but that radiates from within you, right? These are all measurements of success, if you will. Yeah, your hard work is paying off, new moon in Capricorn. So things are happening, right? And your work is going to pay off. But again, it's not looking at it as abundance and material. It's looking at it as abundance and much more powerful things that sometimes are missed out on. Like we have worry flying out. I'm learning that worry doesn't change an outcome. So I do feel like you grew up in a state where you were always either worried about money or just worried about certain outcomes growing up. Like, you know, my mom was famous for that. Like she worried about outcomes. She always wanted to know the how. How is it going to work? I need to know how. How are you going to do that? How is this going to work? How is it going to come together? And like asking how is sometimes, there's never an answer, right? Like, how are you going to be successful? I don't know. Like, I just know that I'm going to be, right? Like, these are things like you can't physically answer. And I feel like that's because my mom, she always told me, she's like, you're such a worrywart, Becky. But I feel like my mom was a worrywart, and so that projected onto me as well. So I naturally worried because I grew up with her worrying. But it was easy for her to point it out in me and not see it in herself. But my mom was like that too, right? And so letting go of worry was a really hard thing for me, but it's also something that was very freeing when I was able to realize, like, focusing all my energy and attention on this is just draining, rather than just trusting in the process and trusting that source has got my back. And sometimes if we have never had someone to trust in our life, trusting that this spiritual omnipresence is going to have our backs can be very frightening and scary, but it is worth the practice. It's not about becoming perfect. It's about practicing and becoming better, because practice makes better, not perfect. There is no such thing as perfect, right? Look at that. Happiness. Happiness is your measurement of success right now. I'm aware that being happy means I'm on the right path. This is your measurement of success right now that source wants you to focus on. Are you happy? Are you happy? That's the only thing that matters right now. Are you happy? Pile number 2. That is it. When you are happy, good things flow into your life. Good things come. Okay. Bottom of the deck. Okay, so we have news and social media. Spend less time taking on the drama and trauma played out in the 3D. I cannot make this up. Right? This is something they're saying. It's a societal construct. What does this say on the... It says, be scared. Be very scared. Is this the truth? Don't believe everything you read or see on the media. This is what it says in this. I don't know if you guys can see that. Let me see if I can make it focus on that. The little words. So that's a really powerful thing. And I feel like that's the thing. It's like if you're seeing people driving around in Lamborghinis and they're saying, I'm happy, I'm happy, I'm happy. Even though we don't see what's going on behind the scenes, like we're naturally going to think, oh, that's the best way to live our lives, right? Like we're getting fed that information, that little bit of information. But that's not necessarily reality. Like they could be renting those Lamborghinis. They could be renting a life. They could be borrowing a life from someone and trying to sell it as their own, right? And that's the thing. It's like you just don't really know. So right now, what is going to make you feel the best is letting go of the news and social media, comparing yourself to, I said that at the beginning, don't compare yourself, right? Like, don't compare yourself to me. It's not about that. And I'm not saying you are, I'm saying that's the thing. It's like, there's no comparison. It's like apples and oranges. You're different than everyone else. You're your own entity in this world, here to express your own expression through your experience and your perspective, which is unique to you alone. No one else will be able to do what you do in the way that you do it. No matter if it's tarot, if it's drawing, if it's art, if it's painting, if it's singing, if it's making music, you're the only one that can do what you do the way you do it. And so remembering that maybe it is a saturated topic or a saturated, you know, department, but is it really? Because there's never true saturation when everyone has their own ideas. But if we're trying to filter ourselves and to conform ourselves, right, change ourselves from Pink into Britney Spears, like Britney Spears had her own success because she was Britney Spears, but she was also led down a really crazy path. But you think about Pink, she's very outspoken, she's very unique to herself, and that's what made her who she is. Even to this day, that's what makes her who she is, right? She speaks her truth. And that's the thing. It's like, she's not ever going to be Britney Spears. That's just not how it works, right? Like, you're not ever going to be someone else. Even if there's somebody in that industry that you look up to, you're never going to be them. Of course, you can take cues from them and look at what they're doing and turn that into your own. But if you're trying to make what they're doing what you're doing as a copycat, you're not being authentic to yourself and thus losing authenticity. Yeah, jump into action. Mars energy here. Yeah, move forward. They're saying go for it, right? Let yourself jump into this, whatever this is, right? You're being given the green light here. There's something here that really matters to you, and that's what Source is saying, like, we're giving you the green light to go. South Node, destined to release, and I feel like this goes with that. What's been a challenge here is destined to release the attachment to the mundane, the physical world, and step into the emotional and the spiritual world. Like, what's going on emotionally and spiritually for you right now, that's what matters the most. Okay? Lioness, protection. Yes, you are protected, right? We'll never go hungry. We'll never not have a roof over our heads as long as we have faith in our right to the basic necessities and trust in the process. Now, I'm not saying to quit everything and to let go of all your jobs, or that's not what this is, right? That's not what this message is. This is a message saying that whatever it is that you're creating, keep going towards that creation, because it's going to bring something beautiful into your life. But don't look at the beauty as it can only be beautiful if it's money, if it's something that's giving me something physical in this world, right? Because there's something else here that it's giving you that's coming from deep within. Feels like a true alignment of heart and spirit and soul. Phobias, yeah, fears, overcoming fears and anxiety here. And I feel like that's the thing. There's this fear-based energy that's coming in that has been playing a role that you've identified with. Something like, well, I can't because I don't make enough, or I can't because this is going to happen, or I can't because how am I going to overcome this situation, or take care of my bills, or take care of this, right? Again, we're not telling you to quit where your main money is coming from or anything like that, but we're telling you don't be afraid of the outcome just because of the money, right? There's something that's keeping you from moving forward because of finances, because of the money. Go with the flow. Relax. It will all work out in the end, right? It will all work out in the end. And the path we take is rarely a straight one. So there's going to be a lot that you don't see. Vesta, fuel your inner fire. Yeah, there's something about this that's you're very passionate about. And that's what matters the most to you, is leaning into that passion, right? You don't have to be everyone else. Be who you are. And let that part of you shine. People are going to see it. The right people are going to see it, okay? So let's take a look at your card. I'm going to read this from the book, and we're going to see what she has to say. Ivory Swan Goddess, number 15-6, is all about balance, harmony, resolution, seeing yourself through eyes of unconditional love, right? Trusting that things are going to work out. There's a resolution here, but if you're holding on to something, holding on to the outcome, it's hard for you to see the resolution because worry is overtaking you at this moment. Okay, it says the Ivory Swan Goddess speaks of spiritual grace and purity. The purity of your soul light never fades, beloved. Release guilt, shame, judgment, or fear that you are not enough in any way, so that you may realize your beauty and be more of yourself and shine your divine essence into the world. Do not cast your eyes away from the perception of your own divine inner light in all its purity and radiance, beloved soul. Just a second. Okay. You may find it easier to believe in the illusion of sins and unworthiness than in the truth of your spiritual essence and innocence. Yet just like the purity, beauty, and grace of the ivory swan goddess, your own soul is luminous, pure, and eternally graceful. You're being asked to recognize the divine energy within you without holding yourself back from unconditional self-acceptance and regard. It is time to accept your divinity in greater measure, to be present to the pure light within and not try to ignore it, downplay it, or worry that it is not enough. No matter what has happened in your life or what experiences or choices you've made, your soul light is as pure as the divine source itself, because essentially that is what it is. There is no need for spiritual shame or feelings of inadequacy. The light within all of us is exactly the same. We are just in different stages of realizing it. Kuan Yin, Ivory Swan Goddess, wishes to bestow divine grace upon you, beloved soul, to assist your spiritual growth at this important time on your path. For this to occur, you must be willing and able to receive it. As you choose to let shame simply be a feeling and let it go, as you choose not to empower judgment, condemnation, or criticism of the self by you or by any other, you are walking the path of remembering the essential soul purity of all beings. This is a peaceful and joyful path, and you become capable of seeing the God and Goddess shining out in you in the most unlikely of people, situations, and experiences. You are opening to receive the grace of beloved Kuan Yin wishes to share with you now and help you live more joyfully in such a state of spiritual remembrance. Allow her to bless you with her grace as you remember the spiritual purity of your own being, free from taint, judgment, or flaw. And I love that, because it's like, I feel like that's the judgment, right? Is judging yourself based on the money or based on the physical possessions that you're earning from said situation. And that's not fair to yourself, and it's not fair to the people who benefit from the love that you have to give, the light that you have to share. They're not receiving your whole essence in that moment. They're only receiving a portion of you. And I just quickly want to mention that you may really resonate with the collective message that I did at the beginning. It's really closely tied into this, which makes sense. It's collective energy, right? But if you're interested, you'll find that timestamp down below in the description box. And there's no pressure or anything like that. It's not required. But if you do feel called to checking that out, you will find that down below. A really powerful message that came in. Right now, it's about not judging yourself and trusting that you have something valuable to offer because you are intrinsically worthy. Okay, so this is what I see here for you today. If you felt like this was your message, leave the little swan emoji down below and say, today I lean into my own inner beauty and my own inner worth, knowing that as I accept myself, I am free to travel on the journey that leads me to my highest path. And if it resonated, it would mean so much to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below, pile 2. And I'd like to take a moment to thank your guides, your spirit messengers, your angel source, and my spirit guides for coming together to give us this truly powerful message today. With that being said, until next time, stay human. Bye. Hello, pile 3. If you were drawn to this dice with the second house on it, or perhaps you felt called to this piece of Unakite, or maybe you're drawn to this card during the shuffle, this is going to be your message from the divine. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. And if you're new here, thanks so much for joining us. I'm so delighted to be here sharing this time, this space, and this human experience with you all. I do things differently here, so there might be triggering statements that arise on the readings themselves. There's no obligation to force it to fit. Also keeping in mind that triggers can be a beautiful blueprint for us to deepen our healing journeys. So I was getting a message that you're having a very difficult time with someone you consider family. So it could be a friend, it could be a sibling, a parent, a child. But there's like something here that's helping you see this situation from a higher state of love. something where maybe there's been a lot of resentment between you and this person or these people. Could be a lot of people. There's been a lot of resentment between you and them. Or there's just like the mirroring of each other, right? Like both sides have resentment towards each other. Or you've been harboring a lot of hurt and pain in regards to this. But there's something here where you're ascending into a higher vibration of seeing this from eyes of unconditional love. And what that is it's accepting them for who they are, while also realizing that that's not an invitation back into our lives, right? Like, just because we're accepting them doesn't mean that we open the door and let them come frolicking back in to our garden with their seeds of weeds, right? Like, we're not looking at that. What we're seeing is that sometimes we have to relinquish our control or our hold on trying to change a person or trying to make them see things from our point of view, or even trying to play on their empathy for situations, right? Like, even if there's other situations like people involved, animals involved, or anything like that, like, we're trying to play on their empathy. And sometimes, you know, because normally that's what would get us going, like someone playing on our empathy for another person. Like, it's not necessarily guilt tripping, but it's just like realizing something along these lines. But I feel like whoever's involved here, they just don't see it that way, because everything that they do has to be an extension of their maintained image. And you playing towards their empathy only makes them feel like they're getting attacked, and so they always lash out. Or there's something here where it's just really hard for you guys to see eye to eye, right? Like, there's no seeing eye to eye in this situation. And so what Source is saying, what the Divine is saying here, is that it's time for you to learn the lesson of love. And sometimes the lesson of love is choosing to protect ourselves, but it's also choosing to protect our peace and not worry about where another person's path is. It's really admirable and valiant even for someone to be like, oh, I can help them heal. I can help them see the truth. I can help them see the love. And that is so valiant, and it is admirable, but it's not up to us, right? No matter how hard we work, it's not up to us if another person changes. If they're continuing to slam the door in our face in regards to that change, then sometimes we just have to take it for what it is. And this is something that's been coming up throughout the whole reading, is that, like, changing others, or not letting something get the better of us, or not letting someone deter us from being who we are. And so really quickly, I would like to say that you might resonate with the collective message that I did at the very beginning of the reading, which you'll find all the timestamps for everything in the description box if you are interested in checking that out. No obligation. Let's get to your dice. Your message from the Divine, pile 2, or pile 3. Your message from the Divine, pile 3. Yeah, there's something here you're meant to let go of. So it could be a way of being, a way of thinking, a feeling, an emotion, like feeling through it. There's something here you're meant to let go of. There's something here that's been weighing you down for a long time. And maybe you haven't seen it as a burden or a weight because, you know, if it's family, it's just something that, it's something that was. It was something that you lived through and became a part of you through that life. And so becoming aware of whatever this is has maybe been very challenging and painful in and of itself. Because it's realizing a way that you might be showing up in regards to a person that maybe they don't deserve that, or maybe they're taking advantage, or maybe they're trying to manipulate you, or maybe they are used to you being in a certain way so that they could benefit from that, right? And that's what it feels like. It does feel energetically here. This does feel energetic attachment to me. Okay. Yeah, so there's 8th house here, Taurus, and the Sun. Taking back your power, self-love, becoming your magnetic self again, and stepping into your light. Right? That's the thing. It's like, I keep getting song lyrics today. Not necessarily the songs themselves, but I keep getting song lyrics. But there's this song, it's a dubstep song, and I think it's by Solo Han. It's either Solo, yeah, it's Solo Han. I think that's their name, or his name. It's a guy. But it's Blinded by the Light. It's like, even if it makes me blind, I just want to see the light. It's something like that. I can never get that second part right, but even if it makes me blind, I just want to see the light. And I feel like you're seeking answers, you're seeking guidance. But even if we're seeking, right, if we can seek our entire lives, that doesn't make the answers easy to digest when they come. We're grateful after we're able to integrate the lessons from those, right? We're super grateful for them. We're happy to allow that to become a part of our change journey. But it does feel like something here is really hard to swallow. And I also feel like there's a lot of more possession than jealousy around you. Like there's a family here that's used to possessing you in a way, like making sure that they control how you feel, how you show up, what you put forth. There's this bag, this gray bag that's rolling around outside. I thought it was a cat, and it rolled under my neighbor's RV, and now it's rolling out there and it's just blowing around. But I feel like that's the thing. It's like they're trying to control the direction, and there is no controlling your direction right now. Like right now, you're being lifted away by source, or you're being spirited away. That's what I'm getting. Okay, maybe that's a really powerful movie for you, but there's like this energy where it's like spirit's trying to guide you somewhere, source is trying to guide you somewhere, the divine is trying to guide you somewhere new. And it's all about you embracing you. It's not about who you're impacting. It's not about who you're inspiring. It's not about who you're motivating, although those things might be important to you along the way, and that's fine. But there's this light that has been asking for you to see it for a long time, and that it could be connected to your inner child. It doesn't have to be, but I do feel like that's coming in. This is a part of you that has been like degraded for a long time. That's the specific word they're using, like degraded. Pushed aside. You never felt worthy of good things or love or light or truth in your life. It's like I'm always going to meet people who betray me. I'm always going to meet people who backstab me. And this comes from this shadow aspect of yours it's showing its face to you now. And as it shows its face to you now, like you're seeing some really uncomfortable truths, and you're seeing some real uncomfortable realities that had been a part of your journey. And I feel like there's definitely going to be a lot of tears in the upcoming weeks. And this could be something that comes up, you know, we're about to go into the Lion's Gate. And so this could be something that really, like the floodgates open during Lionsgate, where you're stepping through this portal, which is funny because that was one message. It was just a very quick message that did come out in the collective messages. There's a portal, there's a gate that you're going to walk through. And it's funny, yours is the only reading that's come back up in, and I just now remembered it. And so I think that that's interesting, because I do feel like you're about to walk through this gate, and through that you're about to magnetize the people that that are meant to walk the journey with you, or to see you grow and see you develop and cheer you on, but not people who are jealous of you, like people who are inspired by you. And there's going to be a sense of self-empowerment here, like reclaiming your power. I keep seeing a Black Panther. So you could have been dreaming about a Black Panther. This could be a symbol that's been coming up for you lately, or the number 44 has been coming up for you lately as well. But Black Panther specifically here is coming up. And I feel like that's just a reclamation of your own internal power. It's like justice in and of the sense of you saying enough is enough. And that is putting you into this place of becoming magnified and very attractive, and manifesting some really beautiful things into your life. Not just manifestations itself, but like things that are beautiful, like beautiful connections, beautiful conversations, beautiful moments, beautiful adventures, like something very beautiful, very luxurious by nature. Like you're going to feel like you're every day at a spa, but it's like the spa of the soul. That's what they're showing me. It's like your soul is just like, kicked back in this nice bubble bath. Like, finally, we've needed this for so long. I'm so glad about this. Like, don't you feel better? Don't you feel better, pile 3? Like, I really feel like that's it. This is like spa medicine for the soul. That's what this feels like. It's really crazy. I love that. It's a very powerful energy coming in. Yeah, definitely a new beginning here. I feel like you're choosing to shut the door on something for sure. Like, you're just saying no. Maybe like whatever door kept getting shut on you, like you're finally closing the other door, right? The back door. You've been coming in the back door or the side door, or you know, like in hotel rooms how they have those adjacent doors. Like maybe you've been coming in the adjacent door, and it's like wherever door you chose to open, you're finally just walking out and closing it, and you left the key inside. Right? You didn't take the key with you this time. You didn't take it because the temptation to go back in might be too strong. And so you decided to leave the key inside. Let them figure it out. Message from the divine, pile 3. Yeah, this is about you embracing your strength. Stepping up into a state of empowered self-worth is coming through as well. There's people here, like, that's the thing, like, there's people here, again, it could be family, it could be anybody, really, but there's people here who have seen your worth and wanted to covet it for themselves, okay? So it's like, if you stepped into a state of financial abundance, they felt like if they stuck around in your life, no matter how they treated you, that they would have an end to your financial abundance. Like, that's the only reason why they keep you around. If that wasn't a potential, then they wouldn't have been around in your life. These are moochers. These are like leeches. That's what I'm seeing, leeches. They're leeching off of you. Leeching your energy, leeching your ideas, leeching your abundance, right? They want that for themselves. This is also the other thing is that Source is saying that when you notice this is going to really shift for you, is you're going to start seeing the things that these people have had that have maybe been really nice. Like, you've watched them manifest and you're wondering, like, okay, I'm watching them manifest things in their life. Like, where the heck are my manifestations? Like, what's going on here? But remember, there's always a time and a place, but I feel like you're going to actually physically start seeing their manifestations break, get ruined by their own doing. Like, by their own doing. Like, random things that are going to happen that are their own doing. Or, like, they're going to be things that are outside of their control, but then you're going to watch as they don't take care of it. Like, it's gonna fall apart because they're not taking care of it, or they're doing it in a very, excuse the expression, but half-assed way, right? Like, that's what's coming through here. It's like they're not truly focused on fixing it. They're just trying to do shortcuts here. Like, oh, well, I manifested it, so my shortcut should be enough to patch it. And it's really literally just holding it together by a string and a prayer, and it's not holding together well. That's what it feels like. So I feel like Source is saying, like, when things are going to shift for you, you're going to start seeing this happen, where their own manifestations that you were always wondering, like, why are they manifesting? Like, what did I do wrong here? But you never did anything wrong. Like, sometimes we have to watch people succeed and fail before our eyes so that we can recognize that all good things that are worth having take time, effort, and work in order to manifest into our lives. And so the things that we're manifesting are actually going to last the test of time. That's what they're showing me here. Yeah. There's a lot of spiritual indecision right now, but there's good luck that's coming, a lot of fortune that's coming into your life, a lot of abundance, spiritual growth, healing. This is also like emotional healing, right? That's coming. And these are different things that are happening in your life right now. But I feel like with the Lover in reverse at the middle of your reading, it's showing that there's this essence of spiritual exhaustion and spiritual overwhelm and spiritual indecision, right? Like, so that could be spiritual indecision because of people and what they're saying to you, or spiritual indecision because of the ego not wanting to listen to the intuition, but trusting what the people are making you feel around you. But it does feel like spiritual indecision. That's like the main thing that's coming up here. Like, I'm not sure which path to take. I'm not sure what to do, because I feel like no matter what I'm doing, no matter how hard I'm working, like, it doesn't feel like things are working out for me. And right now, that's something that you're facing. That's a part of yourself that you're facing that's coming to the conscious mind right now from the shadow that has been an underlying driver in your life, and you're realizing something and it feels very uncertain and uncomfortable and like, oh my gosh. And I also feel like with this realization, you're gonna recognize that a lot of what you've been doing up until this point, even though it's been amazing work, and I'm not trying to downplay the work that you've done, you had to do it in order to get to this point, but a lot of you being busy and like overwhelming your schedule has actually been you running away from facing this truth within you. But again, you had to heal, you had to get through a lot of those other situations. So a lot of your healing has been overcoming those past situations so that you could prepare for this situation to come into the consciousness. And so what I'm saying is, like, you're going to see something really uncomfortable about the amount of work that you've already put in, that to you, it seemed normal. Like, this was how we should normally go about things. And at that time it was, right? It's completely normal. It was what you had to do. Like, there's no downplaying that. And that's what they're saying. They want you to celebrate all the work that you've done, but there's also this essence behind it where it was easier to run to your spiritual journey and focus on that rather than actually heal this really uncomfortable wound that keeps popping up. And it could be really connected to the mother wound in your life as well, especially with the lover. The lover points at the mother wound. It could be the father wound, but I do feel like this is the mother wound, like not knowing how to nurture yourself, how to say it's okay to rest, how it's okay to take some time to yourself. It's okay to just exist. Like, you don't need to do anything. And I feel like existing brings up feelings of uncertainty or feelings of discomfort too. Like when you go out and sit on a chair out in nature, do you take your phone, or can you sit there without your phone for 30 minutes and not do anything? Just sit there. I already feel like some people getting really anxious right now. Like, no, I can't. I know I can't do that. So that's also that underlying essence that's coming through where it's like you always have to be doing something, right? Or taking a nap. You know, I've talked to clients who, I can't take a nap. I like literally can't take a nap because I was never allowed to take a nap when I was growing up, because if anybody in my family saw me sleeping, they said I was being lazy. And so now it's in my head that like I can't take a nap. But maybe that's something that you need to do to overcome this burdensome wound, because it is a burden, right? It's telling you can't just exist and be, that there's something wrong with you just being. And that's not true at all. Part of our existence is to learn how to just be. And so maybe learning to take a nap, you know, like every day, scheduling a nap into your routine. And whether you fall asleep or not, that's not the point. But like, you know, it could be just laying down and closing your eyes for 15 minutes every day and just let that be your nap, your rest period, right? Like, let that be what you experience. And then who knows, eventually maybe you'll be able to actually sleep and to really rest and to exist in that moment as it is. And it's drawing away from the anxiety that pops up around the wound. And that's what they're showing, is there's a lot of anxiety around whatever this wound is. It doesn't have to be taking a nap. It could be anything. What I'm saying though is that it's that deeply ingrained in you where it's like if you are exhausted, you can't even move. You're like stumbling over your own feet. But it's 12 o'clock in the afternoon. You'll still go find things to do because you can't just exist for a minute, right? Like that's the type of wound that this is. Like it doesn't let you slow down and nurture and take care of yourself. Like self-care is literally seeing like, wow, I can barely keep my eyes open, right? Like I can barely do anything. Why am I going to keep pushing myself? Why am I going to keep being busy to overcome whatever this feeling is of anxiety? Like I really need to rest. And even if you sit down to lay down and you can't go to sleep, at least you're starting to tell your body it's safe. It's safe for me to exist in this moment. And that might not happen the first time around, but it's just signaling to your body, if you tell me you're tired, we're going to go and sit down. We're going to take a moment. We're going to exist in that moment because we're tired. I'm not going to keep pushing. And when you finally get to this point, there's this tipping point where you've told your body enough times that now it'll start to unwind. And when it unwinds, you'll find yourself able to take a nap when you need to. You'll be able to rest when you need to. This could also be like if you get sick, you never take time off when you get sick. And I know there's a lot of people who have some feelings about that, but there are also a lot of people who feel like they can't miss a day even if they're sick, so they'll go to work sick. They went to school sick, like their parents sent them to school sick. Like, we don't stay at home, right? Like, that could have been a thing. And so it's like, well, they're saying, well, they're old enough, they should know better. But again, these are wounds that have formed habits in your life. So whether you know better or not, that's not the reality of the situation. It's the wound at play here, and that's what's happening here, pile 3s. There's a wound that's at play that's keeping you from just taking a moment and existing and being in that place of self-care and self-love. You might have actions of self-love and self-care, but I also feel like a lot of times, like if you're doing gratitude, this would be an example. You're thinking about your to-do list tomorrow, right? Like you're not necessarily present. If you're meditating, I feel like for you, pile 3, it might be hard to sit and meditate because there's so much going on in your mind. Like, or even if you have practiced meditation for a long time, like you're never really present with meditation, because meditation is like a moment where you can just let all the day's memories wander through your mind, and that's what you do. It's not controlling the monkey mind here. And again, it's just an uncomfortable habit or a pattern that's coming into your viewpoint where it's like, okay, now I have to face this part of myself. And I have to choose to heal it, walk through whatever it's asking me to walk through so that I can let it go. That's what it's saying. Yeah, the six of coins in the reverse. Okay, yeah, and yeah, justice in the reverse. There's, you know, this is weird energy because I feel like whatever this pattern is that's arising, it was do as I say, not as I do. Okay, so say, like, we'll go back to the nap analogy because that's what we've been talking about. And again, it doesn't have to be taking a nap. This could be anything, okay? It's just what's going to come up. There's something here that's going to be making itself known. But say you could never take a nap as a child, but then just say, like, the minute that your parents got home and they sat down in their chair, they fell asleep, right? Like, because they were so tired, they were exhausted, they couldn't keep their eyes open. But if you woke them up, they would cause crazy terror in your life, right? Like, they'd be like, why the heck did you wake me up? Like, I never get enough sleep. Like, why? And then you could have said something like, well, we don't take naps in this house, remember? And they're like, no. And they could have no reason. They could have 100 reasons. Like, they could say, it's because I'm an adult, you're a child, you have to do what I say and not what you want. Like, there could have been a million reasons that came up. But I feel like that's what the Six of Coins is pointing at. Is like whatever habit is instilled in you has come from constant pressure, constant bombardment, there was a constant voice that was saying this over and over again until it became your reality. So there's something here, it's like, it was do as I say, not as I do energy. That's what it was. It was a very unfair situation with justice in the reverse here. That's also giving that, like, you do what I tell you to, but if you see me do what I told you not to do, don't you say a word about it. We're not going to do that. Right? So if you were raised by someone who was emotionally distant and it's like they expected you to love them, but if you're like, but you don't love me, then it caused problems, right? Like, there's all these problems. If you were raised by someone who was always busy and they expected you to be busy, whether there was something to do or not, when they took a moment for themselves, they were not okay when you took a moment for yourself, right? Like, this is like lack of privacy too. This could have been someone who always barged into your room or read through your journals or, you know, made it their personal business to be in your business. But then when you did the same thing to them, there was always you were reprimanded for that, right? And that's what this feels like. Yeah, this is something that's being purged from your subconscious. Oh, look at that. Yeah, Hermit energy. Did I say that at the beginning of your reading? That I got Hermit? It might not have been your reading. It might have been another one. But a lot of healing here. A lot of coming to terms with the truth of the situation. Realizing that what felt dangerous for you is no longer something that needs to feel dangerous. Right? Like, maybe disconnecting from narcissistic parents or narcissistic children, right? Like, maybe that's felt dangerous in the past, and now you're realizing, like, that was the illusion. And not seeing the danger in it anymore, but realizing there's potential for healing here. A potential to let go and finding something abundant here. So the subconscious is actually what's bringing abundance into your life. Freedom. freedom of self-expression, freedom to take care of you, freedom of self-love, like whatever you felt so confined by, you're freeing yourself from that because the subconscious is purging itself, right? It's coming from the subconscious. And we've been talking about that. And the moon's here right behind the Wheel of Fortune. So yeah, there's definitely a subconscious purging that's coming. It's very, very intense energy, but also necessary. And I also feel like that's the thing. Like if this is someone else, like you're seeing, you know, a lot of people say like they want to watch people get their karma for the way that they treated them. But I've been in both situations where I haven't seen it and I have seen it. And I tell you what, I would rather not see it because it's hard. It's hard, especially if you're an empath, right? You can, it doesn't matter how resentful you are. Your empathy is going to override that because that's who you are at your soul. And, you know, it's like, you could be like, oh, they deserve it, right? And we might say that, and that means that we need some healing, right? That's always a sign that we need some more healing. But, again, it's like the minute you see it with your own two eyes, like if it's something that's really difficult, and you see them going through that, you know, like now they have to care for somebody that they never had to care for before. They end up injuring themselves in a really bad way, or they lose something that was really valuable to them, and you watch them crumple in front of you. Like it's not as satisfying as you would imagine, right? It's just not. And so I feel like that's the thing. It's like, but you are going to see something here where this person or these people start to get karma, or the return. Maybe we shouldn't call it karma, but maybe we should say the return of their investments, their investment of energy. It's being returned back to them, and that there's a deficit, right? There's a deficit. This is not abundance. This is a deficit. And so it's like if you only put out really negative energy, eventually when that returns back to you, it's going to be in the form of negative things or things that you don't want to happen. A loss or grief or overwhelm or anxiety or fear, whatever these are, right? That's just the return of that initial intention that was put out there. And so you're going to see some initial intentions start getting returned. Whether you're going to be there to see them all or not, like it's going to depend on the situation, but you are going to see some people go through some really difficult times or things fall apart. And that's, I feel like, you know, that's just kind of like Source saying like, this is your time now. We have opposition, imbalance, a point of tension, and a power struggle. Yeah. So there's a lot of people here that have dealt with someone who wanted to be in a position of power over them. Like it didn't matter how old you got or how educated you became or how successful you became in your own life. Like there's somebody here who just wanted to have control in your life, some sort of control. Okay, whether that was who you dated, who you were seeing, you know, like your monies, your life, your what's going on personally within you, like your emotions, how your day goes, whatever it is. That's the imbalance, though. We see that playing out here. It was just a very unfair, unforgiving situation. And, you know, when I say unforgiving, it didn't have any room. There was no room here, right? And that's why it was just, there was nothing that was left. And I always talk about forgiveness. Forgiveness is such a powerful thing for us. And I've talked about this from the thing, I watched this guy talk about how we all keep receipts, right? We're all taking receipts on the way people treat us. And only when we let go of keeping receipts can we truly come into a state of forgiveness. We stop taking like, oh, you owe me this, you owe me this. Oh, there's another receipt. There's another receipt, right? Forgiveness is relieving them of the debt that they owe us. It's not an invitation back into our lives. It's relieving them of the debt that they owe us. And they owe us an apology, and an apology that we'll probably never get. And that's why forgiveness is there. It's because it's acknowledging that I'll probably never get this apology, but I want to free myself from the debt that they owe me. Because it's holding me back. It's holding me back from being who I am. It's holding me back from being what I want to become. It's holding me back from the life that I want to live. That's the cage, right? The illusion that somehow holding on to this resentment, which we talked about at the beginning of your reading, the illusion that somehow holding on to this resentment, while justified, right? I'm not saying it's unjustified. It is justified. But resentment in and of itself is actually one of the heaviest vibrational energies that we carry. And it's an anchor into our journey. It's like we're going full speed on the ocean in a cruise ship, okay? And our resentment is us dropping 10 anchors at the bottom of our cruise ship all at the same time while we're going full speed. Right? It's a dead stop. We just stop, but we feel the force of it, right? We feel it. We get thrown aside because of it. Acceptance is realizing that whatever has happened, the emotions are there. We'll go through the waves. We'll go through even the tsunamis. We'll go through the choppy waters. We'll go through the insane times when we feel like the boat's going to flip over. But we're still holding on, trusting that one day calmer waters are going to come. That one day we're going to be in a better situation. And it might not be with these people at all. This is just a portion of our journey. But we're not going to throw the anchors down in this crazy choppy water, this crazy such situation of the emotional sea, so that we can continue to live in this tsunami, so that we can continue to live in these wild waters. Because that's what we do when we live in a state of resentment. We throw down the anchor and we keep feeling it. We get tossed aside and we get moved all over because of it, right? And so forgiveness is relieving them of the debt that they owe us, because we're never going to get it anyways. I've talked to so many people, and I'm always like, I ask questions of people too. And like, do they ever come and forgive you? Like, ask for your forgiveness? Do they ever come and apologize to you? And I'll tell you what, on my own personal journey too, I had one guy who I was really good friends with. And we were friends. That's all we were. Like, I had a huge crush on him. I told him, but he was married. But I told him I didn't know he was married, right? And he told me, he's like, oh, I'm married. And that opened up doors for us to be friends. I know people are like, oh, no, you can't be friends with someone who has a crush on you and whatever. And it's like, for me, that was like, at the time, I was like, nope, like, he's off limits. He's married. That's fine. You know, he had a beautiful family. And we worked together, and that's all we were. We were just friends. We just hung out, and we smoked weed together, and we always went to parties together with our other friends from where we worked at, and we just had a good time. That's all it was. And we hung out with so many people all together all the time. Like, it was, I think the only time it was only the two of us was after he got a divorce. That was the only time it was just the two of us together. But we were friends. Like, we hung out at work, and we hung out with a whole bunch of friends after work and stuff like that. But one day, he sent me some very untoward pictures, I guess you should say. Throughout all of this, he was treating me really badly. All of a sudden, he was just saying some really wild things to me, and I was just like, I was pulling back. Like, I was pulling back. And so I finally texted him, and I said, look, I just don't think that this is going to work anymore. Like, I need to go and find my highest alignment myself. Like, I put it all on me. Like, it's not you, it's me. I did that because I realized that I needed to heal myself from whatever that situation was, right? Whatever it was becoming. And so, I don't know, 2 weeks went by, maybe a month went by, and he sent me some very illicit photos, which I was like, are you kidding me? And I told him in that message, I said, I don't want these. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry, that was a mistake. Those are supposed to go to someone else. And I mentioned in that text message, I said, no, that wasn't a mistake. You meant to send those to me because you wanted a reaction. And I said, well, here it is. Please don't contact me again. That's what I said. So 2 years go by, and I never reached out to him. He reached out to me, and he says, hey, I just want to say I'm sorry. And I remember I looked at that message, and he never said what he was sorry for. He just said, I just want to say I'm sorry. Like, that's it. He never said, well, I'm sorry for the pictures. I'm sorry for the way I treated you. I'm sorry for how I showed up. Like, I could have been a better friend, whatever the situation was, right? And I looked at that message, and I was like, this apology is just to clear his own conscience. It's not because he truly means it. And I never said I accepted his apology. All I said was, I forgave you a long time ago. And that's it. And that was it. And that was the last message that I ever received from him. He never said anything after that. And I realized that the apology itself was either for validation to say, oh, you don't need to apologize, right? That's what my old self would have said. Or it was because he was trying to clear his own conscience to come back into my life and be whoever he wanted to be in the dynamic. And so, again, it's like, when I said that, that was the most freeing thing that I could have ever said to him. I wasn't saying it in a malicious way. I just said, I've already forgiven you, and that's it. That was the message. I've already forgiven you, and that's it. That's what I said. That was the whole message, okay? But saying that to him was so freeing, because I realized, like, it took this huge weight off of my heart, because I knew it was true in my heart. I knew that I'd forgiven him. And I knew that he couldn't show up any other way than he'd been showing up. And I wasn't asking him to, and I wasn't expecting him to either. So I wasn't hurt when he didn't message me again. I wasn't expecting him to come back and be like, well, I was not expecting anything. Because in that moment, I realized that I truly meant what I was saying. Like, I forgave you, and it's over with. Like we don't need to rehash anything right now because it's over with. But it wasn't ever about rehashing anything, right? Like, that's the thing. Like, people who hurt us like that, most of the time, if they come back saying, I'm sorry, and they don't say what they're sorry for, they're just looking for a pass back into our lives. So even if we get that apology, it might not even be the apology that we deserve, right? We deserve an apology where someone says, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry that I manipulated you. I'm so sorry that I was a jerk to you. I'm so sorry I sent you those pictures when you never asked. I'm so sorry I treated you like you didn't matter in my life, even though you might have been the most important person in my life at that time, and I was totally unaware. Like, we deserve a proper apology, but we're not ever going to get it because most of the people who've hurt us in this way only live in their emotional egos. They're not coming from a spiritual place. It doesn't mean that they won't eventually. But if we're the ones who are coming from a spiritual place, then spiritually we deserve to free ourselves with that forgiveness, letting go of the resentment, putting down the burden, cutting out the anchors. We don't need 10 anchors. We got one for ourselves, and that's all we need. We don't need those other 9, right? We're going to cut them out. Drop them and cut them out, but don't drop them when we're rolling full speed, please. Let's take a moment, take a step back, look at the situation, and realize, I'm probably never going to get the apology I deserve. So for my own mental well-being, my own spiritual well-being, my own emotional well-being, and my own peace of mind and closure, I choose to forgive, to free myself. Right? Yeah. So look, so we have Saturn in Aries with risk. This is the key. This is the key here. There's something that's been really dangerous, right? We saw that with the moon. There's something here that's really dangerous coming towards you. But the key is to not see it as dangerous, but to see it for what it really is. What is this, like a gummy with a Dorito on it? I don't even know what this is. It looks like a gummy with a Dorito on it, right? But this bear doesn't look as dangerous as this bear, right? This bear looks scary as heck. Oh, we're going to get out of here. Oh, heck no, right? Here's the fool. He's like, bye, right? But here it just looks like, oh, what is that? Like a table ornament? Oh, that's not scary at all. Right, so we have to risk. We have to take a risk to see things from a different perspective. And that feels scary because it feels like we're dishonoring ourselves. But sometimes that's the kindest thing that we can do, is give ourselves an opportunity to see things from a fresh perspective, right? Which brings happiness into our lives, contentment, freedom. Right? It's also a very intelligent thing. Like, look at dolphins. They're the most intelligent creature to live on the earth. Right? They use more of their brain capacity than anyone else. They speak through sonar, right? Clicks and the vibrations. What is that? People say it's telekinesis, but or telepathic. Maybe they do. Maybe they talk telepathically to each other, but they definitely have they can read what the others are saying by their sonar, where they're at, what's going on, if they're in distress, if they're happy, if they're free, right? So that's the thing. It's like we're using a different means of communication. Before it was always trying to communicate with the person, but now it's communicating out into the world that I deserve something better. And the only way to do that is by truly letting go of the past. I deserve something better because I let the past rest in peace. It's done. It's over with. Right? Groundedness and staying grounded in this as well. It's easy to lose ourselves, right? In the sea of emotion. It's easy to lose ourselves in that. But coming back to the ground and reminding ourselves that in this moment, that's the most powerful moment that we've been given. We can choose what to do with each moment. Your message from the divine, pile number 3. Okay, you're getting 2 of these. Yeah, Archangel Hanael with joy, gratitude, and intuition. So again, coming back to your happiness, right? Like, we're trying to move you away from something that's super depressing into a place of happiness. We're trying to move you away from something that has been judgmental, unfair. It's been persecution. It's been a trap for you. It's been a cage, into a place of abundance and happiness and freedom. Look at these 2 energies, and they're vastly different. Vastly different. We have 32, which is 5, and 15, which is 6. Taking a step into a new chapter of your life, right? And it's not easy. It's not easy to move from those energies, but it is possible, okay? And the reason why we say it's not easy is because, again, it's like we start moving forward, but then all those memories come back up, and then all those old feelings come back up too. It's like, oh, well, they did this, and they said that, and they did this, and they said that, instead of looking at it as like, yeah, that's exactly how they showed up, and that was all information to show me that they're not on my side. So I accept that. I accept that that is the valid information, to not see them through my projected image of who they should be in my mind, but seeing them for the reality of how they showed up, right? That's information. And if we can look at it as information instead of taking it on personally, then we can make educated decisions moving forward for ourselves, right? Luck is on your side, new moon in Sagittarius. So good things are coming for you, okay? Keep your eye on the prize. I hear that with this card too. Keep your eye on the prize. There's something that you're striving for. There's something that you're coming towards, right? That's going to bring a lot of good fortune into your life. A lot of luck and abundance in many different ways. So keep your eye on that. Go towards it. And I feel like that's the thing. It's like the more you see this from a state of unconditional love. And unconditional love is hard for us humans because we are raised in a conditional loving environment. So many of us are, right? So many of us are raised in conditional love. But unconditional love, it's like the best way to look at conditional love is to look at animals, right? Especially dogs. Like, I'm going to use dogs in this example, but it's like, it's hard. And please understand what I'm about to say is a trigger warning, okay? But this is the easiest way to get the point across of what unconditional love truly is. My dog Angel, she was abused before she came to me. And we're pretty sure that she was abused by men because she has a problem with men, especially incredibly tall men. Like, she doesn't like tall men at all. She has a problem with them. Like, she's okay with women now. Finally, I've gotten her to where she'll socialize with women out and about, and she'll let them pet her, which I'm so excited about. And kids, she lets kids touch her and pet her, and she lets short men pet her and touch her. But she will not let a tall guy pet her, and we think that that's because she's abused by someone who is tall. But it's interesting to think about that, right? Like, as a dog that was abused, how did she love that person? Because she's the most loving, goofy, silly dog I've ever owned. Like, she just has such a character about her, and she's just something else. Like, she talks to you, she makes a lot of noise, she likes to bark at you, she likes to, in the morning, she jumps on my bed and she tries to get me to scratch her butt, and then she growls and she's like, and she bites the covers because she wants to play, and then she jumps off and goes and gets her toy and runs back into the bed, and like this. And it's nothing vicious, it's just all she wants to do is play. Like, she's that dog from Over the Hedge, play? Like, that's her, right? That's all she wants to do is play. And so I think about that all the time. I'm like, I imagine that when she was in this situation, yeah, she was scared. She was probably scared of that guy. She was scared of what he was going to do. But I know in her heart she still loved him unconditionally, because that's what dogs do. Like, we always ask, like, how does a dog love someone that abuses them so? Because that's the true definition of unconditional love. Right? That's the true definition. It's like they have to love them because they have no other choice. That's just who they are. That's inherent to them. Now, when we look at it as a human perspective, we can love somebody in that aspect. Love them no matter who they are. But the difference between us and the dogs and the animals is that we're not dependent on them. That means that we have an opportunity to love them from a distance. We have an opportunity to say goodbye. We have an opportunity to close doors where doors otherwise were open and broken off their hinges, right? And that's the difference between us and an animal, because oftentimes an animal is completely dependent on that person, no matter who they are. And it's rough. It's rough for us, especially when we have, empathic hearts and stuff. It's rough for us to hear these stories. It's like, oh, those people, they don't deserve. But again, that's coming from a place of conditional love. Some people are that way because all of those situations we see unfold that we don't agree with, right? That grates us wrong. All of those situations came because of someone's past. These are the choices they've made based on their past. And just because you didn't make those choices based on your past doesn't mean that you're not capable of making those choices. It means that they fed the shadow and you fed the light, and that's what it's showing. And so unconditional love is, can you step back from being so emotionally attached to that situation and look at it from eyes of unconditional love. I accept you, but I accept you as you are. And that means that I have to say yes or no to whether that is an okay for you to come into my life. If you're toxic for me, that's a no, but I can still accept you as you are, right? That's unconditional love. I love you, but from a distance, right? And I know people are like, I don't love them, I hate them. But you know what? Hate is still love. Hate is love riled up in its wildness, because it's turned into something ugly from what it's been. It was driven by love. It was fueled by love at some point. And I know that's really hard to look at. That's a really hard thing to look at, but we wouldn't care so much if we didn't love in the first place. And that's why sometimes with hate, it's like, well, but I hate them, I can't stand them. And it's like, that may be true. That's the resentment. That's the seed of resentment that has grown into something humongous that you must cut out bit by bit. You can't just take it out in one go, right? It leaves a gaping hole. Another seed of resentment gets planted. It grows and sometimes into a even wilder, crazy plant. But you have to take it out bit by bit. You have to look at it for what it is and realize, you know, love is just seeing this for what they are. They're toxic. They're toxic to me. It's not somebody I can have in my life. It was a terrible situation for me. I accept that for what it is. I let it go and I let it rest in peace. Instead of replaying it over again in my mind, instead of letting it be what's running my life, instead of living in that moment, even in this future where I'm safe, I'm sound, I am capable of taking care of myself now. Right? We have to let ourselves step into this present moment, step into this moment of safety, of peace, of taking care of the bruised parts of ourselves, because we're not broken. We've never been broken, even if it felt like it. We're bruised, we're battered, we're beaten, but we're never broken. So we have to nurture those parts of ourselves and show them additional love, which is sometimes a challenge. And I've been there too. Look, I've had those moments as well. I mean, like, it's just human of us that we're going to kind of have these back and forth moments where I can't stand them. Like, oh, they deserve everything bad that happens to them. Moments of healing, right? Oh, I need to heal. Okay, let me come back to a state of unconditional love. Oh, but I'm still human. And just not beating yourself up for that and realizing that ebb and flow is just a part of being alive and being here in this experience. And we've got empathy that came out. I'm open to seeing both sides of the situation. I didn't even look at this. It was so funny. It had flown out, but I was over here because I'm looking out the window. There's the window there and there's the window over there. And I scan the room as I'm looking around talking and stuff. And so I feel like that's a really important message to see here. It's like I see both sides of the situation. It's realizing that you were one side of a coin that they were also attached to, right? But we can only see our side. We can't see their side because we don't resonate with that, or we don't understand why they are the way that they are. But they're the opposite side of the coin from us. They're still attached to us, and they may not resonate with how you see the world, right? It's just the differences in how you chose to feed that part of yourself that got hurt growing up. Most of us who are empaths, we said, I never want to hurt another person like that, because we said we never wanted to put someone through what we ourselves experienced. Now, a narcissist is going to say, I'm going to hurt everybody the way that I got hurt because this is how the world works, right? It's just a difference in their perspectives. And instead of looking at them as like, oh, they're the devil, or oh, they're the demons, it's taking a step back and realizing that this is just the reality of this physical world. It depends on what side of ourselves we choose to feed while growing up. And that's a decision that our inner child makes for us. And it's based on a lot of different circumstances and situations and things that have happened. And so we can't say, oh, well, that's wrong, they shouldn't be like that. They could say the same about empaths. So that's wrong, you shouldn't be like that. You're too forgiving, you're too kind, you're too nice. Right? Like it goes both ways. It goes both ways. So instead of looking at it as right or wrong, it's a matter of accepting it for exactly what it is, instead of labeling it. We like to label things because that's how we file it away in our system. But this is not something we can file away. It's just something that is. And how can we let it be instead of trying to control it and form it into something that it's not? So we're trying to form it into something that it's not instead of seeing it for the reality. No. Oh, what? Okay, so exactly what I've been talking about this whole time. Acceptance. I am learning to accept the things I cannot change. Let it be what it is. Don't try to make it something that it isn't. Right? And that's hard for us because we're grown up in a society where it's like, if it's a nail that sticks out, we got to hammer it. We got to hammer it until it fits in. Right? And we don't like that for ourselves, but we still have done that on other people. And it's hard to see those difficult sides of ourselves, right? Like, it's hard to see that. Like, even with this person that may be weighing on your heart right now, at what point have you tried to control them? At what point have you tried to turn them into something where you were like, well, you have so much potential, let me work on that. And you've been hammering at their potential, trying to chisel it out of them. That's the same thing. It's the same thing to what they're doing to you. It's just the other side of it. And it's like, well, no, but it's with the good intentions, not malicious intentions, right? But they might not see it that way. They might see it as you being malicious, which elicits them to show up as even more malicious. And that's hard. That's a really hard thing to do. But acceptance is where we find our freedom. And that's where we find our true happiness. That's where we tend to our garden of peace, is through acceptance instead of trying to control what's going on outside of us. You know, I'm reading this web comic right now. I talk about these all the time, but it's called I don't love you anymore. It's really good. It's really sad. It's really good, but it's really sad. She's engaged to this duke, and Solène, that's her name, Solène. Well, it's Nevaeh. Her name's Nevaeh Solène, and she's engaged to this duke, and she loves the duke. Like, she's just so lucky. She feels so happy that she's engaged to this duke, and he's so indifferent towards her. He's just cruel and vicious to her, actually. And he keeps talking to this woman, and Nevaeh comes to him once, and she's like, you know, it really looks like, she was another noble woman. She's like, it really looks like you're having an affair, and we're engaged. Like, we haven't even gotten married yet, and this really looks bad on me. So she's like, if I could ask you for anything, I just ask you to stop making situations where this looks really bad for both of us, right? And he blew up at her. But then, so she was always giving him flowers, and he's like, I hate flowers, stop bringing me flowers. But she's like, no, I know you like flowers, I know you like them. And he's like, I hate flowers, stop bringing them to me. Well, so then one day he sees her talking to the gardener. And the gardener's a young man, and he starts talking to the butler, and he's like, who does she talk to? And he's like, well, she only talks to me and the gardener. And he's like, yeah, but the gardener, he's a young man, and I've never seen her laugh like that before. And she's like, so people are gonna see them together and think that they're having an affair. And the butler's like, oh no, he has a lover, and you know, no one's gonna question whether or not the lady is with him, because it's just, no one would question that. Immediately, I already knew what it was. And so he's like, but she shares the love of gardening, and that's why she's talking to him, right? It's like they share their love of plants, and she's always asking what flowers to bring you, and so on and so forth. And so we don't find out until later that after she breaks off the engagement, like, she's the one that breaks off the engagement with him. She ends up going and getting engaged to an emperor of another country, and he's like, they made a contract. It was a contract deal, and it was supposed to be neither one of them fell in love with each other, but they would always stand by each other. And so the emperor is falling in love with her, but she's just kind of emotionally detached because of the situation with the duke. He was always mean to her, always distant. There was no one that was really nice to her. No one appreciated her, and she took care of the duchy for a long time. And so after she broke things off with him, he had a talk with the gardener, and he's like, so you had an affair with Nevaeh, didn't you? And he's like, what? No. He's like, I don't think anybody would assume that. He's like, why are you saying that? And he's like, well, I heard that you had a lover. And he's like, yeah, I do. I have a lover. And he's like, no one in their right mind would ever say that I was having an affair with Nevaeh. And he's like, why? It looked like you two were having an affair. And he's like, because my lover's a man. And that really blew the duke's mind. He was like, what? What the heck are you talking about? And that was the thing. And so it was like, you know, again, he was seeing it through his eyes, and he felt like he was getting attacked by her when she said to stop hanging out with this other noble woman. They went on dates together. They went and hung out in the town together, right? The capital together. And they did all these things together. And he was always leaving her at home. And then this lady would come over, and she would treat her like crap too. And so it just, overall, was just a bad situation. And so now that she's moved on, and she decided when she's like, I decided I didn't love him. I decided that I was just going to let go of everything that had to do with that situation, and I was going to move on, and I was going to move to this new kingdom and get out of Thierry, which is the kingdom that she's in. She's moving to Winfred. And through that, on the journey there, you know, he ends up coming along with them because he's going to become the guard of this mine that they have there. And at one point they're going to the banquet when they first arrive in Winfred, and she has to escort him to this banquet because the Duke and Duchess that are there, they're running behind. And so she's escorting him, and she's like, well, we need to go to the banquet hall. And he finally gives her that apology that she's looking for. And it's so crazy because she tells him, she's like, I don't resent you. And he's like, not even a little bit, for the way that I treated you. And she's like, no. She said, when I decided to leave everything that went on with you back in the past. She's like, it wasn't for me to carry it on. And she's like, yeah, maybe I had hoped for this apology, but she's like, it doesn't matter anymore to me. She's like, it's in the past, it's over with. And she had let it go. She really did. Like, she was really unfazed by it, even after he had given the apology. Like, even later in the days that followed, like, she was totally unfazed. Like, she decided when she made a cut with him, that was it. That was the end of it. There was no going back. And he was so shocked. He was just like, and she's like, she even said that in there, I think that you're saying this for your own guilty conscience. And he's like, no. He's like, genuinely, I've gotten to see you over this time. And he's like, I realize you're not the person who I thought that you were. And that's the thing. And he's like, I was misunderstanding of you. And he was always so arrogant because he felt like she was always going to love him no matter what. And he lost a good thing in his life, right? Like, he's the one who pushed her away. And it was like, he couldn't believe that because he was always expecting her desperate need for his love to be the thing that won him back, that always brought her back, right? Things are finally looking up. The worst is behind you, so look forward to a much happier life. Yeah, right? Why do I hear, please don't stop the music, 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 like that? I hear that with this card. That's funny. Yeah, so it's like things are finally looking up, but that's in the past. Like, leave it in the past. That's what we were talking about, right? Look, 42, 63, like, these are things that are happening for you. There's this change, right? That uncomfortable place of change, moving into a place of balance, but then coming up into this and closing this chapter for good, right? Platypus. The 64, which is the wild card. This is the card that's on the cover of the book and the deck itself. Expect something magical to happen soon. Yeah. So there's a lot that's coming in. Something unique that's coming in for you with 64, right? We had 63 come out and then 64. So this is showing like you're making progress. I was feeling that. That's something really powerful coming through. There's a lot of stair steps here, but it's not about... This has never been about just upending this from your life all in one go. It's been a process, and I feel like that's what they're saying. Like, there's a lot of healing that needed to happen, but I do feel like you're going to look at some of your past actions and realize like you were trying to run away from this very part of yourself that's been asking for your attention, your love, your acceptance. And now by facing that part of yourself, you're moving into a whole new aligned version of yourself. 6th house, get real with responsibilities. A new foundation is being formed in your life. Face those obstacles with first quarter moon. Yeah, so that's the thing. It's like there's something here that you were afraid to face, and now it's coming to you, just asking for you to be present with it. And I feel like that's what you're trying to do to the best of your ability, right? There's no perfecting this. It's just showing up to the best of your ability. Water energy with Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. Spirituality, emotion, intuition, and compassion. Feel like trusting your intuition is key here, okay? We have the sun in Sagittarius. Enthusiasm. Be excited about who you are and be excited for new beginnings. Look at this. We have Mercury in Aquarius. Originality. Don't be afraid to stand out as well. You could have 9th house placements in Sag. You could have 11th house placements in Aquarius as well. Okay. You got a lot of archangels. You're definitely being watched out for. The candle just went out as well. So we have justice, discipline, and harmony. Yeah, so justice is finding you now with Archangel Raguel. things are finally finding balance. We had justice in reverse here, and so it's like now things are finally balancing out for you, and things are coming to fruition for you as well. You've done so much work. Like, your discipline was needed, right? That discipline during that time, healing, all that time that you spent running away from this one situation, it gave you the discipline you need so that you could finally face it. And it's not about, again, it's not about being mean to yourself or mad at yourself for taking that time. What it is let me try that again. It's about being honest with yourself and realizing, like, if I didn't have all these tools, I don't know if I could have faced this. And I'm glad that I did. Like, I'm glad that I gathered all those modalities and those tools along the way, all those resources. They're helping me now face one of my deepest wounds. Yeah, something missing, intimacy or fertility issues. Yeah, so there's like intimacy issues here with this situation, especially if it's family. Like, there's just, again, right, like there's just a block here. There's no way for you to get close with them. It's just not something that's going to unfold the way that you thought that it could, right? Or maybe the way that you'd always hoped that it would. Ooh, okay, a new romantic cycle begins. So this could be inviting in new love that's actually someone who's willing to give and receive equally and not be all consuming of you and obsessive over you, right? Possessive, that's the energy that we were getting at the beginning. Possessive, that energy. So let's take a look at your card. I'm going to read this from the book. We're going to see what it says. 10 Sisters of Light, the number 33 card. Yeah, so a new cycle of creativity. Your angels, I mean, you got angels like crazy in your, right? Like, all these angels showing up here. So, you know, definitely being watched by your angels, by your guides, your ancestors. The divine is stepping with you on this journey. You're never alone. All right, so let's see here. 33. You are an advanced soul and have lived many incarnations, shown your light through many different faces. Your soul has learned many skills in past lives, developed abilities and talents. This lifetime is a culminating lifetime in the sense that your soul is drawing together potencies developed over many lifetimes into unified expression. It is like drawing on the power of 10 sisters or more into your one current lifetime. Be prepared to grow and shine, beloved. The higher self likes to integrate the wisdom it has gleaned over many experiences and lifetimes so that nothing is lost and all is enhanced. You are in the process of spiritual weaving and integration at the soul level now. This means that skills and abilities that you hardly recognize consciously will become more obvious to you. You may find that you know things from different traditions that you have no recollection ever learning. You may feel strangely drawn to start studying different healing arts or martial arts, for example, only to find that it is somehow familiar to your heart. Be patient, open, and trusting of this journey. It is an intense time of spiritual growth as the integration. There is also shedding of the old issues and pain that no longer serve you. It is good to let this go. You are being asked to encourage the activation of past life abilities in your current lifetime by letting go of past pain and issues, even if you're not conscious fully of what they are. Through releasing the pain with the breath out of the heart chakra and anywhere else in the body or energy field, you intuitively feel to do so. Feel this space created, the soul light will shine, and the light of incarnations past, including talents and abilities developed therein, shall shine through you now. This is guidance that in your life at present there is a past life pattern or contract strongly operating. What we've been talking about this whole time. Wow. So synchronistic. This is neither good nor bad, right? We're not labeling it. It simply is. It is helping you to grow either in a supportive way or in a way that is challenging you to become stronger. This past life contract may arise in the form of a teacher relationship or teaching. It may resolve itself by you receiving the teaching or letting go of a relationship or accepting a new relationship into your life, or even letting go of a philosophy or a teaching so that you may expand your awareness with a different teaching that helps you access the wisdom you need for your growth at this particular phase of your journey. This may be very different to what you needed some years or even months ago, and that is fine. It is up to you to trust your heart and discern what feels true for you. Remember, you are one being with the eternal source, and that being has had many faces, just like the 10 sisters of light. You have various skills and talents that you can enjoy allowing the process of their return to you now, and the integration and healing of a past life pattern into a new expression too. Yeah, so this is a really powerful message for you, pile 3. Your pile 3, you got the 33 card. It totally resonates with what we've been talking about this whole time. There's just a pattern or a way of being or an idea or a thought process or something here that has been really uncomfortable to face up until now, but now you're facing it and you're realizing not only the role that the people who had done this to you played, but also the role that you played in that. And it's not with resentment any longer. It's letting go with the fresh, renewed sense of self. And that's helping you step up into this new chapter in your life. Okay, so very, very powerful message here for you. If you would like to claim this reading, leave a little angel wing emoji down below. If you would like to go further, you can say, today I step into renewed vision of who I am in empathy, love, and light, knowing that this is leading me to my path of highest good. And if it resonated, it would mean so much to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. And if you're interested in supporting the channel further, you'll find everything you need in the description box. So with that being said, I'd like to take a moment to thank your guides, your spirit messengers, your angel source, and my spirit guides for coming together to give us this truly powerful message today. And until next time, pile number 3, stay human. Bye.